markets. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Labelling the US trade tariffs as senseless, EFF leader Julius Malema has also slammed government's approach on the matter, saying it has been one of appeasement and begging. But President Cyril Ramaphosa says a government team is currently feverishly working the ground in the US in preparation for the next round of negotiations, which are imminent.
Without being supplicants, without, going on bended knee, which we have never done and which we will never do. We will stand as a sovereign country and negotiate and get the best deal for South Africa.
Ramaphosa says to adopt a retaliatory approach, as suggested by Malema, could backfire. Ramaphosa says government is expanding its export potential to include more markets in Latin America, Asia and the Middle East. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Mining and manufacturing have kept the lights on for the South African economy as the GDP records a 0.8% increase in the second quarter. This is the third consecutive quarter of growth following the first quarter's minimal 0.1%. The latest GDP figure is also the highest since the second quarter of 2023. Nogukanya Mtambo has the details.
Although the latest economic growth has surpassed expectations by some economists, it's still a fraction of the pre-COVID peak. On the supply side, the rebound in mining and manufacturing was helped by more stable electricity supply, logistical improvements, steady global demand and improved domestic conditions. Agriculture, which saved the economy from flatlining or contracting in the previous quarter, reported a modest contribution to the overall growth, albeit lower than its strong start in Q1. Statistician General Rasinga Maluleke.
In terms of agriculture, we saw a growth of 2.5%, but it was largely due to increased economic activity in horticulture and animal products.
Stats SA says the expenditure side was also positive, lifted mainly by stronger household consumption and softer imports. Nogukanya Mtambo, Eyewitness News.
The eThekwini Metro in the city of Cape Town are amongst municipalities which have drawn the highest number of complaints at the South African Human Rights Commission. The Commission released a series of reports today focusing on the state of human rights in the country. 6 municipalities have been flagged for receiving the highest number of complaints from residents related to their failure to observe and enforce human rights. Head of Research Dr. Martin Nzibirwa says most of these complaints stem from the failure to deliver basic services.
The highest number of complaints were against the eThekwini municipality, and then Rustenburg, and then Polokwane, Cape Town, and Victor Kanye and Joel Habi district municipalities. Those were the 5 top respondents in terms of municipalities. As two are tied.
In the Western Cape, Mitchell's Plain residents say crime has reached crisis levels and they are pleading with Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia for more policing resources. Kachalia is visiting Western Cape crime hotspots this week to engage with the affected residents. Gang-related shootings have increased in areas including Mitchell's Plain, Atlantis, Athlone, Mfuleni and Muizenberg in the recent weeks. Ntutu Zelonene reports.
The Mitchell's Plain police station is one of the police precincts in Cape Town identified as a hotspot for gang violence. Residents here have told Police Minister Feroz Kachalia that it's distressing to see children and the elderly ducking bullets daily due to gang-related gun violence. Mitchell's Plain anti-crime activist Lynn Phillips says they are under siege.
We love gun violence, we eat gun violence, and we sleep gun violence in Mitchell's Plain. Why don't we have specialized units at the station level? Why must it be at the district level or a cluster level?
Similar engagements will be held in Fuleni, the country's murder capital, later today. Dutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News in Cape Town.
And in Nepal, youth protesters have set fire to Parliament after veteran Prime Minister obeyed calls by furious crowds to quit. The deadly protests, in which at least 19 people have been killed, started yesterday. They were fueled by demands that the government lift a ban on social media and tackle corruption. Today, demonstrators attacked and set fire to Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's house. Smoke also covered Nepal's parliament as the demonstrators set the building ablaze. Gold is trading at $3,654.28 an ounce. The rand is at 17.46 to the dollar, 23.75 to the pound, 20.56 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.02 a barrel.
Traffic sluggish in the Lenasia area. This is on Nirvana Drive between Klipspruit Valley Road and the R554 Abu Bakr Drive. Also slow-moving traffic approaching the intersection of Main Reef Road and Church due to faulty traffic lights. And we still have traffic lights not working in Rand Park Ridge at Bears Naudé and the N1.
And in your sports, David Miller to miss Proteas T20 series against England, while Albie Morkel joins the support staff. Hugo Bruce sees Nigeria meeting this evening as a chance for Bafana to re-establish themselves as a continental powerhouse. And Jack Draper confirms his arm injury has ended his season early.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 27 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, President Cyril Ramaphosa has dismissed suggestions from the EFF that government is groveling to the United States to reduce the 30% trade tariffs imposed by the US.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 9 minutes past 3 on Tuesday, September the 9th. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you're listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. 0.8%. That's how much growth we've had in the last quarter. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the largest growth we've seen in a quarter in a while. So I'm keen to know, has anything gone better for you economically? Maybe a small business you're running, maybe the role you play in a larger entity, you've seen some growth there. Mining and manufacturing have been doing the best of all the sectors in this particular quarter. But how's it been for you? Maybe you've got a story to tell, the growth figure passing you and your realities by, or maybe you've been part of what is a small wave, but a wave nonetheless. Call us with that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. We'll get more analysis of the figures a little later in the show. Some other stories we're covering. Taxi services have been a center of conflict, particularly where e-hailing service providers, e-hailing drivers have been attacked. Fingers for that being pointed at the minibus taxi industry. Government is looking to resolve this by creating new legislation governing the sector and dealing more clearly than they have to date with the e-hailing sector. But what are they coming up with, and might it work? We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. In fact, shortly when we talk to Vatuka Mbelengwa, who speaks on behalf of the E-Hailing Association of South Africa. Tonight in Bloemfontein, Bafana play a vital World Cup qualifier against Nigeria. You know, we've only beaten the Nigerians once. That was 20 years ago. They've certainly had the upper hand, although there have been plenty of draws in that mix. What's so difficult about beating the Super Eagles? We'll find out when we talk to Sean Bartlett, the man who scored the winning goal back in 2004. He joins us at 10 to 4. And what is the most environmentally friendly way to dispose of your used cooking oil? More on that at 10 to 5 in our green tip of the week. Throughout the afternoon, we'll be celebrating winners, Gauteng's greatest in all sorts of categories. 702 doing this in partnership with Yoko. We're going to meet some great entrepreneurs doing some really exciting things. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news from the roads in our regular traffic updates, and we'll bring you the latest from the markets. Now, speaking of the markets, back on the 23rd of July, we made a big thing about this because it was a big thing. The JSE breached the 100,000 point barrier for the very first time. Today, around 6 weeks later, that seems like old news. A 750 point gain today took the all-share well past 103,000 points, with gains in every sector. Interesting mix. Anglo's up 10% on merger news. Spara's gained 5.9%. Glencore up 5.1%. Harmony continuing a good run for gold and gaining 3.2%. All of this on a day, though, when platinum stocks are sharply down. They've been a major driver of previous gains. Sibanye weaker by 3.9%. Implats by 3.2%. Decent day for the rand, currently trading at 17 rand 51 against the dollar, 6 cents better than this time yesterday. 20 rand 54 will get you a euro, another 6 cent gain, and a pound will cost 23 rand and 73 cents. That's 5 cents stronger than yesterday. The oil price is up by 50 cents today, currently trading at $66.69 a barrel. Stephen Curtis joining us with all the details at 4:25. We'll get sport with Anthony Teixeira, including the latest from the Bafana camp and everything else connected to tonight's Bloemfontein showdown. Mbali Dlamini back with the latest news headlines. She joins us again at 3:30. Karabo Chale keeping an eye on the roads. We'll hear the traffic report in a couple of moments' time. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live, and if it's happening in 702 land, you will hear about it here first. You can help us with that, of course, that very, very lofty promise we make every day. If there's something that we haven't seen or something that we've seen but haven't properly understood, get in touch. 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. 14 minutes past 3. This is 702 Drive.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
So lots to talk about, lots to inquire about, lots to think about, including some of those random thoughts. We got in a conversation a little bit earlier, prompted by what I can't recall, about how for single people shopping can be less than easy and perhaps even less than fair. If you're just shopping for one, why is it so difficult to find a really good bottle of wine in a small bottle, 375 mils? Why can't you buy a single lamb chop or 4 pieces of cheese or whatever it might be? If you're a single, or shoppers are single, because some people may like to just buy their own stuff because of dietary reasons, they're taking care of their food needs outside of a larger entity where they live. But yeah, what is that like? Do you find it very difficult to find what you need? Do you find yourself having to buy things that you actually don't particularly want? Jonathan Fairbairn, you raised the topic. Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, John, and afternoon to the 702 family. Yeah, I came across a post on X by somebody who has posted a purchase from ShopRite. And what it is, it's a beef potjie mini. So it's 2 cubes of beef potjie, which weighs 0.068 and is going for 8 rand 77.
Okay, that's not bad.
So, I mean, I'm not sure what you would do with that. I mean, I suppose instead of buying a big pack of potjie mix, and maybe, cooking it for the whole week, and if you feel like eating beef potjie mix for the whole week, you could just buy 2 cubes of this, maybe fry it up in the pan as a single person, quick and easy when you come home, or a little miniature stew. So yeah, it was quite an interesting little post, and it received quite a lot of comments. And apparently ShopRite does this. They do cater for
yes.
single kinds of people. You can buy sort of maybe 3 slices of cheese, and various other things that you can buy. So yeah, I mean, the single people out there, is it a struggle when it comes to buying? I mean, luckily I don't do the shopping at home.
Yes.
That was taken off me a long time ago. But with a single person, you could either do, suppose, if you have the Woolies budget, meals for one, the quick meals in the microwave, or if you enjoy cooking, what are the difficulties buying stuff from shops that perhaps don't cater for the single person or the person living by themselves?
Okay, well, tell us about your own experience in regard to that. Are supermarkets missing out on a business opportunity? ShopRite and Cheryl's also send us a picture of those beef minis. R8.77. Was that your one?
Let me double check. Yeah, R8.77.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cheryl bought it before you were able to go and pick it up. Karabo Chale, have you ever had to shop as a single?
Yeah, no. When I moved out of home, I was living by myself for quite a while, and I have a bit of a sweet tooth. So I love the the cakes from Woolies, but then they don't have sliced cakes. They only have the full one.
Yes.
And like you say, ShopRite does it very well, but I don't really enjoy their cakes, So I would have that struggle of buying that whole cake and struggling to finish it. Then I'll force myself to eat it before it goes bad or something. So yeah, that was a struggle.
They could do like single slices and call it like cake net, but that name's already taken, so we can't do that. By the way, I've just been correctly corrected by Tipane, who says the last time South Africa beat Nigeria was 2017. Indeed, it was Cup of Nations, and it involved 2 goals from Tokelo Ranti. So my mistake there, but I'm not mistaken in saying that we'll have Sean Bartlett joining us to talk football. So 7:02 drive, it's 18 minutes past 3. Let's get the very, very latest news from out on the roads with Karabo Chale. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, John. Well, at this stage, not looking too bad, and no serious accidents have been reported on our highways. However, in the Lenasia area, traffic is a bit sluggish on Bafana Drive between Klipspruit Valley and the R554 Abu Bakr Drive. Also, bumper-to-bumper traffic in the same area, Lenasia. This is on the N12 westbound. This is between the R554 and the R559. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Edenville area at Morafontein Road and Van Riebeck. And we also have faulty traffic lights in the Selby Amalgam area. This is causing delays in and out of the Joburg CBD. This is approaching the intersection of Church and Main Reef Road, and also traffic lights out of order, Rand Park Ridge, Bayers Nodia, and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Do you foresee that there's going to be a scheduling conflict? And have you managed to engage with the evidence leaders of the parliamentary inquiry that's also looking at the same allegations by General Mkhwanazi? Because the two processes will be running concurrently.
It is merely a scheduling conflict. And of course, we have the same objective, which is to get to the bottom of the allegations made by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. And so we can reasonably be expected to communicate with each other, which we have been doing, and work together to find a solution to the scheduling issues. But it is nothing more than that. There's no competition or anything untoward.
Jeremy Michaels, spokesperson for the Madlanga Commission.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
The South African Local Government Association, SALGA, is hosting the International City, County, Municipal Managers Global Exchange Program. It takes place in Johannesburg from the 8th to the 12th of September 2025. The program brings together municipal leaders from across the world to share knowledge and practical solutions to common local government challenges.
Zinzi, the Gen Z. Word on the street is you sold your car.
Yes, and I needed a glow up. Hashtag no hustle, no hassle.
So wait. The influencer got influenced by We Buy Cars.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And they came to me. They checked the car, they gave me an offer. Oh, and they paid me immediately. Easier than an Insta Live, without the weird DMs at 2 a.m.
I didn't understand half of the things you just said, but hey, We Buy Cars. Geared for the glow up, geared for you.
If you want to know about the heart and art of jazz, look no further than the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, a grand ensemble of over 50 world-class acts across 4 stages for 3 whole days. That's right, from the 26th, 27th and 28th of September. The Sandton Convention Center will be demure and sophisticated as the fine Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 takes you deep into the heart, the art and splendor of jazz. Take me there. Book your seat via Ticketmaster now.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Every business begins with heart, but it thrives with the support of its community. And no one backs Gauteng's entrepreneurial dreamers like 702, Yoko, and you. Over the past few weeks, we asked you to nominate and vote for your favorite local businesses, and boy, did you show up. Now the spotlight shifts to the winners, Gauteng's greatest. Well, today right now we're going to be going through, six different winners in different categories. And right now we're going to tell you who has provided the very, very best dry cleaning services in Gauteng. The winner of the category Greatest Dry Cleaner goes to Mdu Cleaning Services. And our congratulations go out to Mduduzi Mnisi, who is the founder of Mdu Cleaning Services. Congratulations, Mdu and your team. Your excellence hasn't gone unnoticed. We see you. You are the best of the best in Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Behind every great Gauteng business, there's a greater system making it look easy. Introducing Yoko Counter. It's the smartest till you will ever own, with payments and point of sale working together right out of the box. Ready to become the next Gauteng's greatest? Go to yoko.com for more. Remember to show our winners some love. Visit them and experience their excellence firsthand. Keep supporting local small businesses and stay listening to 702 because there are more winners to be revealed over the next hour and a half.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's focus our attention on this story coming out of the news. The South African Human Rights Commission has released the findings of a study that they do every single year. They look at in which areas. Well, it's a series of reports, really, but they focus on the state of human rights in the country. They look at which municipalities, for example, have been flagged for receiving the highest number of complaints from residents. And you may have heard in the news bulletin, eThekwini, Rustenburg, Polokwane, Cape Town, Victor Kanye, local municipality, and the Joe Kabi district municipality. Now, let's find out what those numbers actually mean. Alpha Ramoshwana, our EWN reporter, was there for the release of these reports and joins us now. Alpha, very good afternoon to you. I mean, what do these numbers mean? Because you could say that if there are a lot of complaints, it means service delivery is bad. Is that the logical conclusion to draw? Or is it more complicated than that?
Yes, John, good afternoon. So in the last financial year, the South African Human Rights Commission received about 2,300 complaints across the country. Most of them, as you have rightfully said, are from the eThekwini municipality and the City of Cape Town Metro municipality. And these complaints relate to the failure by government to provide basic service delivery. And when we questioned the South African Human Rights Commission today, they said a lot of these complaints are regarding the failure to provide water, the failure to provide sanitation, failure to provide housing, and issues around food and healthcare as well. So these complaints were filed by residents who had many grievances, who felt that their human rights were being violated by government failure to provide clean drinking water. And when we look at the report, they show that while in a majority of the provinces there is running tap water in schools and in medical facilities, the water at times is not potable, meaning the water is not clean enough to be consumed, to be used for cooking as well. And so these are some of the complaints that were lodged to the South African Human Rights Commission over the past financial year by residents.
And just in terms of what the other reports cover, I mean, what do they cover?
The other reports, really, everything is centered around poor service delivery. It's different complaints from different sectors of society, different parts of the country. In Limpopo, the complaints were around healthcare, housing, and access to water and sanitation. And when you look at the complaints received in eThekwini, they also have to do with water. The Human Rights Commission says a majority of the complaints that came from the eThekwini municipality have to do with access to water. And When we look at the city of Cape Town, which is among the 6 municipalities that have received the most complaints, in that municipality, the most complaints that they received had to do with housing issues and sewage issues. I mean, if you have been to parts of Cape Town, parts of the Cape Flats, and so forth, you do see these issues. You do see the lived realities of residents, and those were shown in the report today, that a majority of the residents in those areas are not happy with the sewage, with the failure by the municipality to clean the municipality and to provide access to clean drinking water.
Thanks very much, EWN reporter Alpha Ramushwana. 27 minutes past 3.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Now let's turn to this. The Department of Transport, we understand, is getting ready to bring in new laws that will deal with how e-hailing operators like Uber and Bolt, and particularly the drivers who serve those systems, go about their business. There's going to be something called the National Land Transport Amendment Act. It's been in the works for quite a long time now, but it hasn't yet been operationalized. President Cyril Ramaphosa actually assented to this law in 2024. So what changes will there be for e-hailing drivers, and what do they think about the proposals? Vatuka Mbelengwa is head of presidency at the National E-Hailing Federation of South Africa and joins us now. Mr. Mbelengwa, welcome and thanks very much for giving us your time. I understand, for example, there will be official e-hailing operating licenses. Is this and the other measures a step in the right direction, or do you have concerns?
Afternoon, John. Thank you for having me. We do have concerns, and we'd like to see a bit of a more sharper focus on regulatory framework for e-hailing app companies themselves and not just operators on the ground. So in essence, we want a framework that will govern how Uber should behave, Bolt should behave, and anybody else that comes into the market should therefore behave, as we can appreciate that these global anarchists have been leading global disruptions, and we need to begin to manage and sort of create a buffer for our country and our industry. We'd also like to seek more clarity on a price determining instrument. We do need to regulate the pricing into the space so that we don't find ourselves in this continued direct competition with our minibus taxi industries and the ongoing exploitation of our services, because at times we've got a full vehicle and the rate we're billing is far too low. So we do need a price determining instrument that will make sure that we have got a healthy competitive state. They do touch on some fines, and there's some clarity on fining drivers. But, we'd like to see some fines, and we'd like to see some of these fines thrown backdated if possible, because the evidence has been in the marketplace forever that Uber and Bolt are saturating our market. Even the Competition Commission report highlighted this, and their behavior has been reckless. Let's throw 100 million rand fine in there for historic bad behavior.
Yes. So I've got a message from one of our listeners. I'm going to read it in detail, but I want to just extract a particular point and get your view on it, Mr. Mbelengwa. He talks about drivers having to register to be in specific geographic locations. Firstly, has this particular listener, he doesn't want his name used, understood this correctly? And if he has, his concern is that, if his area is Joburg, but he gets a fare out to the airport, what does he do if he can't pick up someone on the way back? So first of all, is that a concern? And secondly, how should it be addressed if indeed it is?
It certainly is a concern, and internally within NEPSA, how we're having the conversation is to say, department essentially needs to just reimagine transportation holistically. Now, in the past, when you look at how municipalities and Department of Transport measured the economic needs and the economic demands within different economic zones, they then issued permits based on that. I think what we need to do is establish a virtual rank so at any given moment we can manage the amount of capacity and vehicles being made available in certain economic hubs. So we can control the traffic, we can control the public transport traffic, and we can have control over safety issues, because the problem that we are finding with cars hanging around everywhere is being compounded by exactly this. So I think the solution lies in us reimagining how we operate holistically as a transportation department, it also lies in us leaning on technology to quantum leap us, We have seen quantum leaps in other industries, and I think we are in a prime position to quantum leap, leaning on technology to formalize our sector and ensure that we get e-hailing to participate within a healthy ecosystem within public transportation.
Thank you so much. Lots and lots to think about there. Vatuka Mbelengwa is from the National E-Hailing Federation of South Africa, head of presidency at that organization. Maybe you've got some thoughts on how you think the e-hailing industry can be better regulated. Perhaps you're a driver. Maybe you're just a customer like myself with some views. Give us a call on that on 011 8830 702, 28 minutes to 4. Back to the news desk we go. Mbali Dlamini has the details. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. A very good afternoon. The ANC is concerned it's losing the black middle class vote and has admitted it needs to find creative ways to regain the bloc. The party says the country's middle earners have become disillusioned with the ANC, which they blame for the country's corruption, poor governance and slow pace of transformation. This is contained in the ANC's discussion documents for its upcoming National General Council. The council is a mid-term review forum where the party takes stock of its policies and challenges since its last national conference. Thabiso Koba has more.
Research studies have shown the black middle class has outstripped the white middle class in terms of numbers since 1994. In its discussion papers, the ANC says the rise of the black middle class is largely due to government's economic transformation and empowerment policies. The ANC says in the early democratic years, the black middle class favored it. However, the group is now shifting towards other political homes. For this, the party blames a period of anti-intellectualism which took roots in its leadership structures. The ANC says traditional branches may not appeal to the black middle class. Instead, it has to create professional forums where this group can discuss policies and feel their voices heard. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
A KwaZulu-Natal widow whose husband was shot and killed during a house robbery last month is calling for justice. Nkululeko Shezi was shot and killed at his home in Gwamakuta, south of Durban, when suspected gunmen forcefully entered his home and stole most of his belongings. His wife and children are now living in fear, believing the gunmen could still return. Nhlanhla Mabaso has more.
It was just one shot at the back, so the bullet penetrated through. And then after shooting him, he locked us inside the bedroom.
The traumatic scene is still very fresh in the mind for Nogwanda Shezi as she retells the violent incident that claimed her husband's life. She says a group of armed men terrorized them in front of their children. She's added that the incident was not the first where their home was robbed, and the family is concerned about no developments in the case. And while police have been praised for their swift action in dealing with crime in KZN, Nogwanda Shezi says she cannot relate.
My main call is that may we please be served justice. Let the civilians know that they are protected. If we are having SAPS around us, we must know that we are protected.
Police in the area are yet to respond. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Kwamakuta, south of Durban.
The Western Cape Social Development Department has welcomed 138 new volunteers in the fight against gender-based violence. Volunteers joined the department's GBV Ambassadors program, which provides support to survivors of violence. The program also aims to create awareness around domestic abuse as well as gender-based violence. MEC for Social Development Yoko says the new volunteers have doubled their numbers in the province.
They will be increasing the footprint of existing GBV ambassador programs. The fact that we have more residents raising their hands to be part of this program shows the impact that current GBV ambassadors are having in their respective communities.
Lont adds that the volunteers will be stationed in Guguletu, Mitchell's Plain, Retreat, as well as Philippi.
We are creating a movement, one of hope and peace. Thank you to these incredible ambassadors for availing themselves to a cause that seeks not to only prevent GBV, but to strengthen support for survivors by offering them a safe space and easier pathways to support services.
And at least 9 pig heads have been found outside several mosques in the Paris region. The city's police chief says the incident has sparked alarm over rising anti-Muslim hatred. The last name of the French President Emmanuel Macron was also painted in blue at one of the locations. The consumption of pork is forbidden in Islam as the meat is considered to be impure. Police have launched an investigation for incitement to hatred aggravated by discrimination based on race or religion. It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 27 and 28 degrees.
Leaving Sandton at this hour, there's traffic pressure on Catherine Street between Sandton Drive and Grayston. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Bryanston area, Winnie Mandela Drive between Main Road and the N1. Devland roadworks causing delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union.
The top story in EWN, the ANC is concerned it is losing the black middle class vote and has admitted it needs to find creative ways to regain the bloc.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Why have you decided as the MK party to file a formal complaint?
The MK party is a party that respects the rule of law. We cannot have a situation where when we take power, then the rand is going to tank because now it's all these reckless, irresponsible people that are destroyers that are taking over. Self-interest activities like this one. This is a DA self-interest issue that is being articulated using a cabinet position. This is abuse of office.
Mzwanele Mani.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Mzansi, set your sights on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for 114 million rand in total guaranteed jackpots this Tuesday. You heard right. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 57 million rand and Powerball Plus for the guaranteed 57 million rand. Do it today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Itube is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
This is Jade. She'll spend hours comparing almond milk and once made a spreadsheet just for sneakers. But when she found Santam, SA's leading short-term insurer that offers a range of cover options, from vehicle to building and home contents, even she didn't overthink it. The kind of freedom Santam gives you takes some getting used to. Speak to your broker. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
Do you know what's hiding behind colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front-of-package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front-of-package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by 30 September.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Well, living as a single, I generally will cook like a normal dinner, like a nice curry, Durban curry, of course, and make enough, like a normal, buy the normal amount of meat, whatever, and then I've got food for like 3 days. Dinner sorted, so I find that that's a better way to go than making little meals every night. Gary from Durban.
702 Drive, keep those coming. We asked you about the challenges of buying food in supermarkets when you are shopping and cooking for one. Give us a call on that, 011-883-0702. It's 19 minutes now to 4 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
This EWN Sport is brought to you by JQ. Start here and let nothing stop you, not even traffic. Anthony Teixeira, so we've had the one-day internationals against England, the two T20 series starts, and you've got some team news.
Yeah, good afternoon. That's right, John. The Proteas will be without David Miller for their 3-match T20 series against England. The batter sustained a right hamstring strain while playing for Northern Superchargers in the 100 and has been unable to recover. The first T20 international is Wednesday evening. The replacement has been brought in. Meanwhile, former South African all-rounder Albie Morkel will be a bowling consultant for the series. Switching to football, where South Africa will host Nigeria in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers this evening. Coach Hugo Bruce has discussed the magnitude of this game for the South Africans as they try to re-establish themselves as continental powerhouses.
It's a big opportunity we have tomorrow. If we win the game, we are qualified. Not mathematically, but then it should be a miracle if we shouldn't qualify. So we all know that. And it's a big opportunity to win the game tomorrow. But again, we are playing against a very good opponent also. It's not because they are 6 points behind us that you have to think that Nigeria is not a good team anymore. When you see the players there, they all play abroad in big teams in Europe.
For the Super Eagles, they'll be without star striker and Galatasaray forward Victor Osimhen due to a shin injury, but Eric Chell is confident the rest of the squad's ability is there to step up in his absence.
Osimhen is a big star, very good player. I have a big group too. I have some big player in my head with me, in my side. They are more than player for me. I can tell you something. They want to play a great game here. We don't have the time to say, oh, Victor is not here. Maybe we cried in our room after his injury. So now we are together. We think about our brother, but we have a game tomorrow and we are together for tomorrow.
Kickoff is 6 p.m. and in tennis, Jack Draper shared his season has come to an end early due to an arm injury that's forced him to withdraw also from the US Open. The bruising to his left serving arm was first noticed at Wimbledon. Initial scans cleared him to return to the courts. However, the discomfort returned during the final Grand Slam of the year. It also means that he won't participate at a first ever year-end ATP finals, with the Brit also likely to lose his place inside the men's top 10 world ranking by the end of the year. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
They'll tell you to wait until you're ready, until the plan is perfect, until you have it all together. But let's be real. Anyone who's done anything started without enough. They started nervous, started without a plan. Until the hustle made sense, they started anyway. And when ambition calls, you need more than a ride. You need a car built to start you on your journey, to drive you into what's next. Start where it matters. Start where it counts. The new JQ J5. Start here.
EWN Traffic.
Right, let's get the very latest from out on the roads. Karabo Chale, Bryanston, again. Delays, again.
Well, I'm afraid that's the case, John. This afternoon in the Bryanston area, slow-moving traffic on Winnie Mandela Drive between Main Road and the N1. Also leaving Sandton, there's traffic pressure on Catherine Street between Sandton Drive and Greyston, while in Protea Glen. So we're to expect about a 20-minute delay N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. We still have those roadworks causing delays. This is in the Devland area heading towards Eldorado Park on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union. And also look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Rand Park Ridge area at Bayers Nordia and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So, question we asked a little bit earlier, Anthony, the difficulties of shopping if you're a single. You don't necessarily want 6 lamb chops, you maybe just want 1. And Karabo Chale's example, you do not want a whole cake, you just want a slice.
I mean, you might want a whole cake.
Yeah.
Like, you might want a whole cake.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is sometimes when you are living alone, I remember when I was at varsity, I cooked for myself in the evening, and then that was lunch. And quite often, it was also leftovers for the next supper. It was like 3 meals that I was basically eating. I didn't know how to cook for one. I also thought it was kind of weird that I'd make one meal today and then tomorrow once again cook again. So it was about making a meal that would last. And then, listen, if I had stir fry on a Monday, I wouldn't have stir fry for the next 2 weeks because I'd be so tired after 3 meals. And then the rotation was just very important. Having a sort of mind map of where everything goes and when you're going to eat certain meals.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a solution to a particular problem. We've heard it more than once. 702 Drive, 14 minutes to 4.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
One of the evidence leaders for the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry into Police believes there will be evidence that the commission hears which won't be made public. Advocate Matthew Chaskelson, who was part of the evidence leaders of the Zondo Commission into State Capture, spoke to the media during a briefing in Pretoria yesterday.
Some of the evidence we gather will include evidence from undercover agents who have been placed in criminal syndicates by the SAPS and who the SAPS use in their attempts to break these criminal syndicates.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is back. With just one ticket, experience unforgettable music, mouth-watering food, bold fashion, and vibrant art. From Saturday 20 to Sunday 21 September. Celebrate with friends and bring the family for a picnic on Sunday. This year, DSTV celebrates 30 years with international headliners, SA's hottest talent, and a feast that's as big as the Vibe. It's Africa's biggest music and food festival. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star and supported by 702. More on deliciousfestival.com.
When you're uploading massive files, does it really matter what your internet's download speed is? With business class internet, you get a connection that's as fast going up as it is down. Your company deserves business class internet because just reboot the router isn't a business strategy. Find reliability at vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Further together. Vodacom Business.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Well, the Minister of Employment and Labour gazetting new regulations that seem to make it easier for smaller companies to remove workers who are not performing.
This will erode the power of the trade unions. This is a classic area of the ideological divide that exists in South African society that is making it almost impossible for economic growth to accelerate.
Dr. Azar Jamin, the Director-in-Chief Economist at Econometrics.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, equipping you with efficient and secure cash management solutions for your business. Your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Every business begins with heart, but it thrives with the support of its community. And no one backs Gauteng's entrepreneurial dreamers like 702, Yoko, and you. Over the past few weeks, we asked you to nominate and vote for your favorite local businesses, and you showed up. Now the spotlight shifts to the winners, Gauteng's greatest. So, lots of people think they can make hamburgers. Lots of people think they can make hamburgers good enough to sell, but there is only one greatest burger joint in Gauteng, and it just happens to be called the Burger Joint. Let's welcome then and congratulate the owner of the greatest burger joint, Shabir Bucks. Welcome and congratulations to you. What makes your burgers so much better than anyone else's?
I think we have a motto. We have a motto, and we call our burgers the real burgers. So our hashtag is Eat Real Burgers.
So what makes a real burger? Is it?
We don't have any soya, no preservatives. It's 100% pure beef, pure lamb or chicken, and there's no gimmicks on it, no extra sauce. The flavor is in the patty itself.
People come for the food, but presumably people come to hang out in the burger joint. Yes. What kind of atmosphere were you looking to create in your obviously successful place, and clearly it's worked?
So we basically don't have a store. We have 4 food trucks out in the Greater Gauteng, and we have a diner experience. So when you come to our food truck, lovely neon lights, you get the full food truck experience, and obviously our great burgers as well.
So how did you settle on your recipes for these burgers? Obviously, purity of ingredients a key feature? But you must have made, I don't know how many you made, and I don't know if you had friends around or family, and you said, yeah, maybe, but not quite.
Yeah, no, we went through a lot of butcheries, local butcheries in Edenvale.
Right.
And we tasted and sampled a lot of burgers, added a lot of ingredients to it and taken out from the burger itself. And we finally found that butcher that really, puts that flavor in there. And our recipes are unique to us. So if it doesn't taste good to us, we won't serve it to anybody else.
And just tell me, Shabir, do you like burgers yourself? Or was there a time when you absolutely loved them, but right now you may think, if I never see another one?
No.
The chef gets full, hey?
Yes, no, 100%. But you can never get tired of a chili lamb burger from the burger joint or a chili cheese and egg burger from the burger joint. It's packed with flavor and it's really, really unique.
Well, listen, Shabir Bucks, many, many congratulations. The burger joint is Gauteng's greatest burger joint. Your excellence hasn't gone unnoticed. We absolutely see you and the work you put in, and you are the best of the best in Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. You are officially Gauteng's greatest burger joint. What a win. Now, upgrade to Yoko Counter to match your vision. Faster payments, real-time stock tracking, and staff management all in one point of sale and payment solution. It's the smartest till you will ever own. Ready to grow? Go to yoko.com and look out for the burger joint. The trucks are coming to a place near you. Remember to show our winners some love. Visit them and experience their excellence firsthand. Keep supporting local small businesses and stay listening to 702 because there are more winners to be revealed in the course of today's 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. It's 7 minutes to 4.
Thanks so much.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
A couple of you responding to the news and some of the issues there. Glenn says, I got to laugh at the ANC. They need to find better ways to get us black middle class to vote for them because we can't be bluffed by a t-shirt or a food parcel. They are still missing the point. They need to find ways of fixing the country, creating jobs, getting rid of poverty, and providing people with essential services, mostly getting the corrupt into orange overalls. And then, Glenn says, we can consider voting for them. Now, we've been talking about, food that is properly parceled and sized for people who are on their own. We had earlier Karabo Chale suggesting that he didn't want to buy an entire cake. Anthony Teixeira saying, well, what would be wrong with that? And Patricia weighing in and saying, Woolworths does offer a slice of cake. In the restaurant section, they will pack the cake for you in a little box. 702 Drive, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, the number where you get us is 072 702 1702.
Hi, John. Mac from Kempton Park. I'm also staying by myself. And I also cook big for 2 or 3 nights. Take Scafton to work. Maybe come back and have something with the Sami. And I think you can cook small because my shops don't sell small pots anymore.
Thank you for that. 702 Drive. It's 6 minutes to 4. Now, I read a really intriguing story on the Guardian newspaper website. I just want to dig it out for you. But basically, the person who wrote this story said that they decided, or it was presumably offered to them, to have a massage by a robot. Now, I got a robot massage, says Madeline Aguilera, and I lived to tell the tale. And she is in a suburban shopping complex. The robot is run by a company called Aescape. I guess. Oh, no, Aescape. That sounds right. She says, I love massages, but this is a massage that's going to be provided by a robot. So it made me think, and I wondered if you've got a view on this. This is increasingly, I think, going to be a part of the lives we live. I don't believe that robots are going to take over this and that, and major areas of our life are going to be taken over by robots. But I guess if you'd said to me 25 years ago, would we be watching football matches on our phones, I would probably have been skeptical about that as well. So I'm no particular guide, but I can tell you I'm not going to have a massage from a robot. Ever. And that's something you can hold me to. The other thing is I will never get into a driverless car. Just not going to do that. So I'm keen to know from you, as the idea of getting services that are not provided by human services, like massages or taxi drivers, taxi rides, is there anything that for you is just going to be completely off limits? Nope, not going to use a robot for that. We're not talking traffic lights here, by the way, because I think we're the only people in the world who call traffic lights robots. 4 minutes to 3.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
The Department of Transport should require the e-hailing services or platforms to ensure that both the driver and the rider are safe, in a way that everyone uploads their identity onto the platforms, so that if any crime is committed on a trip, then there's an easy way to hold whichever party liable to account. And then also, I think the Department of Transport should, in a way, motivate or I'm running out of words, but they should encourage, because now the platforms are saturated with too many cars in specific zones where some areas are completely neglected. So they should encourage people to relocate and go and provide these services elsewhere, so that we don't have too much saturation in one place.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting thing that I think live for me, e-hailing was an absolute game changer. I mean, it allowed me to make all sorts of much better choices, and one of the key ones was about drinking and driving. Now, I'm not implying by that I used to get blind drunk and drive around, but I became increasingly uncomfortable, particularly with some of the stories I was hearing about their interaction with traffic cops late at night. And I have an absolute rule: if I'm going to have literally a single sip of wine, I'm really not going to be driving at all. So they've been a game changer, but it's clear to me, at least, that there is a lack of order and regulation, not only in the relationship between the e-hailing industry and a more established alternative like the minibus taxi industry and even metered taxis, but clearly it does seem as if perhaps there are too many drivers and no particular plan to make sure that everyone can make a decent living. 702 Drive, I asked you about things that you absolutely would not have a robot do for you. Let's hear.
And John, are you sure you never use a robot for a massage? I'm sure you've been to the mall and then they say sit down and then they put you on those chairs and those chairs give you a massage. That is a form of a robot.
Okay, is it? I mean, I never gave it a minute's thought, but yes, to be honest, I have never ever been in and sat in one of those chairs. Do you get a good massage? Maybe I ought to give it a try. Things you would not have a robot do. Francis, John, you've long been in a driverless car in South Africa. It's called a minibus taxi. You'll do just fine in these new ones. I mean, I've seen pictures of this. I do not ever intend entrusting myself to something that doesn't have a human being behind the wheel, however well or poorly they drive. 702, please keep your thoughts on that and the other issues of the day coming. 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Still to come, the Constitutional Court has been hearing arguments for and against the National Health Insurance Act. We'll look into what went on up on Con Hill in more detail after 4. Right now it's 4 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Shadrack Sibiya loses his bid to return to work, and Ramaphosa defends the decision to engage with the United States. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, has lost his bid to return to work. The Pretoria High Court dismissed Sibiya's urgent application, which would have seen him return to work after being placed on leave of absence in July. Sibiya has been battling his boss, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola, in court over whether the decision to place him on leave of absence was lawful. Sibiya's attorney, Ian Leavitt, says this is not the end.
Our State respects the decision of the court, and after consultation with our clients, it is instructions to appeal the judgment.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has dismissed suggestions from the EFF that government is groveling to the United States to reduce the 30% trade tariffs. Ramaphosa says rather than adopt a retaliatory approach, government believes a strategy of engagement is best. Answering a question from EFF leader Julius Malema in the National Assembly today, Ramaphosa said his ministers are searching for alternative export markets. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Labelling the US trade tariffs as senseless, EFF leader Julius Malema has also slammed government's approach on the matter, saying it has been one of appeasement and begging. But President Cyril Ramaphosa says a government team is currently feverishly working the ground in the US in preparation for the next round of negotiations, which are imminent.
Without being supplicants, without, going on bended knee, which we have never done and which we will never do. We will stand as a sovereign country and negotiate and get the best deal for South Africa.
Ramaphosa says to adopt a retaliatory approach, as suggested by Malema, could backfire. Ramaphosa says government is expanding its export potential to include more markets in Latin America, Asia and the Middle East. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says it's all systems go for the upcoming U20 summit, where city leaders will gather under the G20 banner to reach consensus on common challenges. Morero was speaking at a media briefing in Sandton today ahead of the U20 Mayors Summit. Joburg and Tshwane will co-host mayors from the G20 member states at the end of the week as part of South Africa's presidency. They're expected to talk shop on a range of issues, including infrastructure, digital transformation and innovation, climate action and social inclusion. Despite criticism about the city's readiness to host the headline G20 events, Morero says Joburg's importance in global conversations cannot be understated.
When mayors and city leaders from across the G20 arrive here, we are not only exchanging ideas, we are creating networks of action. Johannesburg becomes the testing ground, the platform where global commitments can be piloted, adapted and implemented in real urban settings.
He says urban challenges cannot be addressed in isolation, labelling the upcoming gathering as critical.
They demand collaboration across borders, access to shared knowledge and the courage to scale solutions.
We shift our focus to this now. The family of a missing 35-year-old man is demanding answers from a student residence in Midrand, Johannesburg, where it's believed he was last seen. Lebu Mniki reportedly visited his girlfriend at the Res Publica Princeton Village student accommodation on August the 29th. There has been no clarity whether he left the building or not, but he has not been seen since then. The family has now opened a missing persons case with the Midrand police station. Jabuli Limbata has more.
Lebu Mnigi's family says it was made aware of his disappearance when his employer called them to say he had not been to work on the Friday, 29 August. His sister, Vuyogazi Ntutu, says it was unlike Mnigi to not show up at work, so she immediately tried to locate him. She says all his friends confirmed that he was last seen visiting his girlfriend, who allegedly refused to give the family any answers about his whereabouts. Ntutu adds that they visited the residence and they were allegedly told he was seen coming in but not going out.
Frustrating thing is the lack of transparency and people not willing to cooperate. It makes you question, what are they really hiding? I mean, if I'm innocent, you want footage, I give you the footage. And I'd want to clear my name.
She says the residence has refused to give them the CCTV footage to see whether he exited the premises or not. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News.
And 4 people have been killed in Indian-administered Kashmir following a gun battle in the disputed territory. According to reports, the shootings started on Monday when soldiers launched a search for armed militants after receiving a tip-off. 2 suspected rebels and 2 soldiers were killed during the 2-day clash. Kashmir is divided between India and Pakistan since their independence from British rule in 1947, and both claim the territory in full. The conflict between the 2 countries has left tens of thousands of people dead, mostly civilians. Gold is trading at $3,661.20 an ounce. The rand is at 17.50 to the dollar, 23.73 to the pound, 20.54 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.02 a barrel.
In Protea Glen, expect about a 20-minute delay. That's on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558 in Devland. We still have those roadworks, so this is causing delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, and driving through the Joburg CBD, slow-moving traffic, M1 South between Killarney Benz and the Crown Interchange.
And in your sport, Bafana and Nigeria collide in momentous World Cup qualifier. Ange Postecoglou in line to replace departed Nuno Espirito Santo at Nottingham Forest, and England handed a boost for the Ashes as Ben Stokes returns to training.
A fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy in the afternoon. Joburg dropping to overnight lows of 13 degrees, peaking at 27. Pretoria 15 and 28, and Vereeniging 12 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibia, has lost his bid to return to work.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 8 minutes past 4. How's the second day of the week gone for you? Good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. We've got plenty coming up over the next hour or two. Are any of you, by the way, on your way off to Bloemfontein? I know our signal extends fairly far south. Maybe you're listening on the Prime Media app. If you are, you should be getting a decent signal out on the highways. Anyone going to Bloemfontein for the game? If you are, give us a call. I mean, I really miss that idea. You just head out with a group of friends or maybe a family member who's never been to a big sporting event, particularly a Bafana game. If you're on your way and going to the game, give us a call. If you've got special plans for watching tonight, I'd like to hear about those as well. And, of course, your predictions. Our record against Nigeria, not the very, very best, but this is huge. We've got to win tonight. Of course, we could be served if Lesotho beat Benin, but you don't want to qualify that way, or certainly you don't want to rely on that for your own qualification. It's in your own hands and at your feet. Let's hope that Hugo Bruce and the team do the very best. We'll have traffic news for you in a moment. Not so good if you're out in the Soweto area. We'll give you some specific details on that in a moment. And then in this half hour, we're going to be exchanging some views with Professor Alex van den Heever, an expert on health funding. He's going to be taking a look at what's been happening in the Constitutional Court today. You heard that story a moment ago from Mbali Dlamini. We're celebrating the very, very best businesses in Gauteng coming up in this hour. Best place to go for date night and best place to go, a salon to prepare for date night. We'll do both of those in the next hour. It's 10 minutes past 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Nailed it spot on, because I'm also never getting a car that is driven by a robot, or let alone anything to do with a robot. Like, we need human touch throughout some of the things that we do in life, just as much as interacting with a client services consultant. It needs to be a human being that has some sort of an emotional connection to your needs somehow. That's my take.
Yeah, I want the emotional connection, but mainly I would like when I say, excuse me, where are you going? Or what are you doing? Or there's a truck coming down that one-way street or whatever. I would like to know there's somebody who's actually in a position to listen. It's 11 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
Well, to all you drivers and robots out there, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Cars.coza. Let's find what moves you. I mentioned Soweto Karabo Chale in some kind of difficulty. Protea Glen is where it's particularly bad.
Yeah, heading into the Lenasia area, you can expect about a 20-minute delay. That's Protea Glen on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Devland roadwork still causing heavy delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Also driving through the Joburg CBD, slow-moving traffic on the M1 southbound from Killarney Bains all the way to the Crown Interchange. If you're heading towards Centurion, traffic is a bit sluggish in Midrand on the N1 northbound between the Batu Interchange and Samrand. And also, if you're leaving Sandton at this hour, there's some traffic pressure on Catherine Street between Sandton Drive and Grayston. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Do you want to buy a Honda? Cars.coza. Toyota or Mahindra? Cars.coza. Do you want to sell a Cherry? Cars.coza. Suzuki or Mercedes? Cars.coza. Polo, Kia, Mitsubishi, Havel, Hyundai, Lamborghini. Buy and sell, it's very easy. All you got to do is type Cars.coza. 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 Let's find what moves you. Cars.coza. Cars.coza.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Olusegun Adeleke, founder of Pack App. What inspired you to actually develop this app?
If you notice that the problem that PAC is basically solving is actually a general one. It's a global problem. Access to expertise, access to the direct people, access to the likes of yourself. All right. So basically, the idea of having to solve a problem.
PAAQ. Why spelled like that, if I may ask?
Please ask any question.
Oh! Listen, do we not get the coolest guests on this show?
Hello?
Please ask any question. Okay, I'm sold. I'm downloading the app right now.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Mzansi, set your sights on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for 114 million rand in total guaranteed jackpots this Tuesday. You heard right. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 57 million rand and Powerball Plus for the guaranteed 57 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
For those 2 a.m. checkouts or the late night shifts, for the last minute orders and the beginning of the month rush, for the 9 to 5 that becomes a 5 to 9. You don't clock out, and neither should your payments. Pay fast by network, always open for the dreamers, the doers, for you. From e-commerce to in-store payments and business funding, we have you covered. Sign up today at payfast.io.
Running a business is tough. You need tools that just work. That's why more South African businesses are switching to Mac. At iStore, we make it easy with 4,000 rands in added value when you switch. That's 3 years extended warranty and remote tech support, leaving you to focus on everything else. Switch to Mac with iStore, your expert partner. T's and C's apply. Mac at iStore. Run smooth as business should.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Every business begins with heart, but it thrives with the support of its community. And no one backs Gauteng's entrepreneurial dreamers like 702, Yoko and you. Over the past few weeks, we asked you to nominate and vote for your favorite local businesses, and you showed up. Now the spotlight shifts to the winners, Gauteng's greatest. We've been going through different categories, and now we are focusing on this greatest date night restaurant. And the winner is, if you've got a date and you've got a date night and it's really something special you're looking for, you need to go to the Garden Shed. Not your Garden Shed, of course, the Garden Shed restaurant. And we're joined now by owner and manager and chef at the Garden Shed, Marvin Pillay. Very good afternoon to you and many congratulations on this great success. Tell me, did you set out to create a date night restaurant specifically, or did it just become popular for couples who wanted to spend that time?
Hi, good afternoon. No, actually, it was just an idea that I came across, and as we went along, it turned out to be the perfect date night restaurant because of the atmosphere and the ambience and the fires and the lanterns. So it just took its own course.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, do you find that if you know, I mean, presumably some people are coming there who are not on dates. Do you clock very quickly who is? And do you, for example, give your waiters tips on how to go about things a little differently?
Yes, most definitely. You know, the atmosphere, the ambience turns everybody into that romantic night, as I said. So we noticed we've had a few wedding proposals, a few engagements that happened over there. So, and we've done a few weddings in the restaurant. So it's actually quite nice.
And tell me, did you tailor your menu around that? Always good food, always just good food?
Yeah, we've actually tailored our menu specifically for the date night.
So tell us, I mean, what is a good date night dish? Is it dishes to share, for example?
Yes, we do. We have several, but we serve a little bit of a different style. We do more wild game meat dishes, seafood, mixed with potjies, traditional potjies. And more on the romantic side, we do subtle food as well, nice salads and nice starters that everybody loves.
Well, congratulations to Marvin Pillay, owner and manager and the chef at Garden Shed. And we are very, very pleased to have him with us on the show. Congratulations, Marvin. Your excellence hasn't gone unnoticed. We see you. You are the best of the best in Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Gauteng's go-to for date night. You've set the bar high. Table, the newest point of sale solution by Yoko, will revolutionize your restaurant with stock, sales, and staff management, table ordering, automatic end-of-day sales wraps, and more, all from one sleek system powered by smart tech. So you can focus on plating up, not adding up. Book a free table demo at yoko.com. Remember to show our winners some love. Visit them and experience their excellence firsthand. Keep supporting local small businesses and stay listening to 702 because there are more winners we're going to be revealing as the show unfolds. 19 minutes past 4.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's focus our attention now on the Constitutional Court, specifically a challenge to the National Health Insurance Act that the court was hearing argument in regard to. So it's got all the way to the Constitutional Court to find out what the case might turn on and what the implications might be of the judgment. Let's welcome again to 702 Drive, because he joined us yesterday on a different theme, Professor Alex van den Heever from the Wits School of Governance. Prof, welcome. I know that you were part of various study groups looking at the NHI. What is the court, though, looking at in this specific instance, and why does it matter?
So it's not the NHI Act that's being considered here, it's the Certificate of Need provisions that were put in the National Health Act. And so there's a relationship between the two potentially, because they both involve the allocation of extensive discretion to the Minister of Health to make all sorts of decisions. So this was a Certificate of Need decision framework which required that any medical practitioner or health facility required a Certificate of Need in order to practice in any given area. And if they failed to have such a Certificate of Need, it would be a criminal offense. So this really gave powers to governments, to the Minister of Health, to essentially remove your ability to practice in the area you've been practicing in for your life, or your period, and basically require that you can only get such a certificate if you move to some other area. So it was kind of based on the idea of being able to redistribute resources to underserved areas. That was supposedly the rationale. The High Court struck that down. It said that the legislation failed the test of rationality, and that it allocated extensive discretion to the Minister of Health, which is largely unchecked, and could result in an abuse of power, but it certainly undermined the right of people to perform a trade, and it could have an impact on the Section 27 right to access to healthcare, in that it could actually undermine existing service provision and not necessarily result in an improvement in health provision somewhere else. So it's automatically referred to the Constitutional Court, because the High Court struck down provisions, sections 36 to 40 of the National Health Act, and said that they should not be, they must be removed.
Right.
And so this is essentially, it's a referral, and it's potentially a kind of an appeal, and the Constitutional Court has to approve whether or not a piece of legislation can be struck down.
So, in other words, what we're looking at in practice is we've got somebody who's qualified as a specialist, let's say a pediatrician. They would need to, under the law, apply what? To the Provincial Department of Health, to a specific body set up for the purpose, National Health, and say, I want to practice in the Roodepoort area, and this body then comes back and says, sorry, we've got enough pediatricians, you need to go somewhere else? Or do they recommend, I'm talking about the way the law's framed now, do they then say, but we would very much like you to go to Velcom?
Well, so first of all, there is no body.
Okay.
It's the National Department of Health.
Okay.
So effectively, it lies under the discretion. It's a Minister of Health's decision as to whether or not you get that certificate. And so basically the Department of Health would set up some structure which would do these evaluations supposedly. But whether or not somebody would say, yes, you must move to such and such an area, there's nothing provided for in the Act for that. All it would basically do is you apply and you either get turned down or accepted. Alternatively, if you've been practicing there already, you'd be forced to apply.
Yes.
And they could reject you. So now you have to shut up your practice and you'd have to apply somewhere else. So it's effectively quite draconian, potentially, and implies quite considerable discretionary power allocated to the Department of Health and the Minister of Health. But it's not the provincial department, it's the national.
Okay. So would it be fair to say, I mean, look, I don't know the law and I don't know the Constitution as well as I should, but I can't think of any other area of life where an organ of state can tell somebody who they don't employ where they should go to ply their trade or, exercise their profession.
Yeah, so there are provisions at the provincial level for health facilities to apply for a license to operate, but it doesn't take into account these considerations. They're basically governed under provincial legislation, and the practices differ by province, but they are actually quite loosely applied. But this effectively criminalizes the practicing without that certificate of need, and its entire purpose is related to supposedly achieving geographical equity. So it's criminalizing you because you're not in the right place if you're practicing. So that's different from saying, if you don't have this license, we need to know you're professionally qualified and you won't kill patients.
Yes.
So that's where you might say, if you practice without a license, it's a criminal offense. But in this case, it's saying, no, it's a criminal offense if we think you're not equitably distributed. So all sorts of issues kind of arise from that, and I agree. There's no equivalent. I can't think of any equivalent that exists, because this would apply to every single health professional, every practice, every individual, up to and including health facilities.
So sometimes legislation has interlocking and interdependent parts. If this particular part of the Act was to be declared unconstitutional. Does that dislodge or destabilize any other elements?
No, it doesn't, because it was regarded by the High Court as entirely severable. In other words, you could strike it down and it would have no impact on anything else. And it's important to note that this came in 2003. So this was even before, Polokwane had even considered NHI or anything like that. So it didn't have that in consideration. So that's another piece of legislation, and it doesn't even refer to this provision. So there's nothing that is affected by this piece of legislation. It basically can be removed with no implications. And since it was implemented in 2003, it was effectively dormant.
Yes.
And many of its provisions were disallowed from a prior court case. So essentially, it was never enacted, never implemented at all.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Well, there's lots to look out for. The court had hearings today. There will be a decision. I'm not exactly sure when, but we'll always rely on Prof. Alex van den Heever and others who've studied the NHI Act in its entirety. But this deals, as he pointed out right at the start, with a very, very specific element of it, the certificate that you would require to demonstrate that there is not a surplus of doctors or specialists of your particular kind in the area where you want to practice. 27 minutes past 4.
EWN Business.
Well, Stephen, I was just noting earlier on the 23rd of July, big news. JSE passes 100,000, not 6 weeks later, and we're in 103,000 today.
It has been extraordinary, John, and a large part of it has been driven by gold prices. Platinum too, to an extent, but really the gold price. And then also look at the period we've just been living through. For the last couple of weeks, we've had corporate results, and that's really been a big part of this as well. And we start to see that today, particularly when you look at what's happening with Anglo, for example. SPAR up today as well. So the JSE Ore Share up 0.42%, as you say, past 103,202 points. Financials up 0.44%. Industrials up 0.77%. And then resources down 0.11%, but when you consider the extraordinary sort of growth we've seen with gold, really nothing to worry about. So Anglo up 9.57% today, confirming its merging with the Canadian miner Teck. The two boards have agreed the merger will be on equal terms. It creates the fifth biggest mining company in the world. 70% of it will be all around copper. They'll be based in Canada. They'll produce copper, iron ore, and zinc. Copper is thought to be quite important in terms of the energy transition today, John. Shares in SPAR reacting quite enthusiastically too. They're up 6.56%. So SPAR finally able to sell their unit in Switzerland. They'll get just over 1 billion rand for the sale to Tannenwald Holding AG. That will reduce their debt. SPAR also wants to sell their branch in the UK. So they've got a lot of work there. John, would you like to know how nervous our retailers are about the fact that Walmart is coming to South Africa?
So my guess would be not very.
So I went to go and check. Pick n Pay are up on the day. Spar are up because of they're selling their unit in Switzerland. Checkers, ShopRite, are up on the day. And if I were Walmart and you're going to step into the ring with our retailers, I would just remember that one of them is called Boxer. Because
okay.
So that's how scared the owners of our retailers are about Walmart. Not at all. Their shares are going up. I think it's actually going to be very tough for Walmart in South Africa, frankly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only a day of trade, but it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Let's wait for the first store.
Indeed, let's see what they do. Glencore up 6.18%, Richmond up 2.5% as well, and then Harmony up at nearly 2%. Yeah, ShopRite actually up 1.9% at the moment. Sibanye down 4%, Telkom down 3.44%. One or two of the platinum miners also down a little bit today. Sasol down 2%. In the US, so this is crazy. The indexes open slightly lower. They're sort of rising a bit now. What we're expecting is an employment rate revision. So the level of jobs, the number of jobs for the year through to March might actually be slashed by as many as 1 million jobs. Now, look, statistical agencies, we do it too. Stats SA will release figures, they'll release revisions, you get more numbers, you do it all again, etc., etc., etc. But this will have a big impact if that is what happens, particularly based on the last sort of figures we've seen, which suggest that the US economy is not employing as many people as previously thought. But now, though, the Dow Jones is up 0.9%, up 0.09%, the Nasdaq is up 0.04%, the S&P 500 is up 0.07%. The gold price right now is standing at $3,657.02 an ounce. Platinum is $1,377.60. And then John Brent crude is at $66.97. So it's up $1 or $2, but early trading in the moments after that Israeli strike on the Hamas negotiation team in Qatar. I wouldn't be surprised if Brent crude does move up slightly in response to that. The rand to the dollar looking stronger, 17.50 to the euro, 20.55 to the British pound, 23.71. Stephen Krutis, EWN Business.
29 minutes to 5. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news now with Mbali Dlamini. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the Post Bank is not yet ready to be granted a license to function as a fully fledged state-owned bank. He says the struggling entity, which serves mostly rural and poor communities, must clear a few compliance hurdles before it can establish itself as South Africa's government-owned commercial bank. Ramaphosa is currently responding to questions during a question and answer session in the National Assembly this afternoon. Babalondenze has more.
President Cyril Ramaphosa was asked by ANC Chief Whip Mdumiseni Ntuli whether the government has established the need to capitalize the Post Bank to ensure its viability. Ramaphosa was also asked on the establishment of a state bank, which will entail the licensing of the Post Bank. He told the National Assembly that the Post Bank is still having serious governance challenges and doesn't yet meet the requirements.
Now, according to the Minister, the Post Bank has not yet fully met the conditions for a banking license, particularly around its card key management processes and the compliance with the prudential standards that are required.
Ramaphosa says the Post Bank's immediate challenge is to strengthen its governance and make sure the bank is compliant with prudential standards and to stabilize its own finances. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay in Parliament. The Water and Sanitation's Department is proposing that Joburg Water become a standalone service provider if it is to solve the city's water challenges. Today, Parliament's Portfolio Committee heard that 4 billion rand has been siphoned from the entity from the Joburg City Council. It says this has left little or no money for much-needed maintenance as well as infrastructure repairs. Joburg residents have been enduring weeks of water supply challenges as reservoirs struggle to keep up with demand. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The Water and Sanitation Department has told Parliament that it's not through a lack of funding from national government that many of the country's municipalities are experiencing water supply problems, but rather the way in which the money is being spent. Director General Sean Phillips, who's part of the Joburg Presidential Working Group, says at the heart of the city's water troubles is the way in which Joburg Water is funded.
Unfortunately, with the financial difficulties faced by the city has swept more than 4 billion rand out of Joburg Water's accounts and not put them back. And this has resulted in a situation where many of those contracts have come to a halt because the contractors haven't been paid.
Deputy Minister David Mashlobo says by water revenue going into the city's coffers instead of Joburg Water, it's causing an infrastructure investment shortfall of over 3 billion rand a year, with less than 1 billion rand invested annually. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And finally, Walmart, the world's largest retailer, is officially coming to South Africa. The company says its first branded stores will open before the end of the year, promising jobs, community investment and its signature everyday low prices. The move follows a growth summit earlier this year where Walmart recruited African suppliers to put locally made goods on its shelves. Mongezi Yoko takes a look.
Thank you for shopping at Walmart. Walmart says shoppers can expect bright white aisles packed with everything from groceries to gadgets, all at competitive prices. The retailer is also pledging to invest in local communities and small businesses, hoping to blend global scale with homegrown flavor. Massmart CEO Miles van Rensburg.
This news demonstrates Walmart's commitment to making high-quality, affordable merchandise accessible to more customers. We'll announce official opening dates of our store locations in a few weeks.
Walmart began as a single discount store in rural Arkansas back in 1962. Today, it's a global giant in 19 countries, and soon it will be rolling out trolleys here at home. Monkey Yoko, Eyewitness News.
A fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy in the afternoon. Lows off between 11 and 15 degrees and highs off between 27 and 28.
Traveling towards Bedfordview, the Kilulis interchange. There's slow-moving traffic on the N3 in both directions. This is between Modderfontein Road and the Geldenays interchange. Also in Protea Glen, you can still expect about a 20-minute delay. N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. And in Midrand, traffic sluggish. N1 northbound between the Batlu interchange and Samarand.
The top story in EWN, President Cyril Ramaphosa says the Post Bank is not yet ready to be granted a license to function as a fully fledged state-owned bank.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Do you foresee that there's going to be a scheduling conflict? And have you managed to engage with the evidence leaders of the parliamentary inquiry that's also looking at the same allegations by General Mkhwanazi? Because the two processes will be running concurrently.
It is merely a scheduling conflict. And of course, we have the same objective, which is to get to the bottom of the allegations made by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. And so we can reasonably be expected to communicate with each other, which we have been doing, and work together to find a solution to the scheduling issues. But it is nothing more than that. There's no competition or anything untoward.
Jeremy Michaels, spokesperson for the Madlanga Commission.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 in brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
The BCCSA is calling for nominations. Do you know someone with broadcasting expertise? Nominate them to serve as a commissioner for a 4-year term starting 1 January 2026. Send a short CV and motivation to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. Nominations close 19 September 2025. Visit www.bccsa.co.za for more info. 702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, 702. No matter what technology, where technology takes us, I don't think I would allow a robot to deliver a child in a maternity room, no matter how sophisticated it becomes. That one would be a no-no for me. I would want a human touch for it.
Good afternoon, Bob John. As always, great show. Hey, listen, no one is ever getting into a taxi that does not have a human taxi driver, particularly a South African Zulu taxi driver. Let's be honest. We all hate taxi drivers, but if you've been inside of a taxi, you will appreciate a taxi driver that breaks the laws. I don't think a robot can be programmed to break all traffic laws on the road to try to get you to work safe. And we always appreciate these drivers, whether you're late for a job interview or you're late for work and you're sitting on your last warning, or there's traffic. You actually want a taxi driver that does have a tendency of breaking the laws. No one's going to say it, but I'll be the first one to say it. So if ever I was taking taxis, I would not want a robot that follows the rules of the road driving me to work. No, thank you.
702 Drive. I asked the question about robots. Are there things that you absolutely will not have done by anybody other than a human being, prompted by a story I read about somebody who had a massage done by a robot. You can read it in the British newspaper The Guardian online. 20 minutes now to 5.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira, huge football match. South Africa's Bafana could book their spot at the World Cup in North America. All sorts of other combinations, but basically got to beat Nigeria.
Yeah, good afternoon, John. That's right. Bafana could potentially book their spots at the North American showpiece if they pick up a victory against Nigeria, although it would have to also mean that Benin drop points against Lesotho, as well as FIFA deciding against taking 3 points away after fielding an ineligible player earlier in qualification for South Africa. Coach Hugo Bruce has applauded his side for their mental strength over the last few years and for learning to tune out the noise.
I said Friday after the game that we did on mental level a very good job. It was not easy to play that game with the nonsense that has been told before. The team is also mentally strong and we will need that tomorrow also. We believe in ourselves, we are confident. And again, we will try to beat Nigeria tomorrow. We have a chance to do it.
For the Super Eagles, they must win all 3 of their games to stand a chance to qualify for the World Cup, as well as have results elsewhere go their way. And Captain William Ekong believes that they have the ability to pull it off.
We believe in it, so we've got 9 more points and this important game tomorrow to play for, so that's the only thing that we can think about. And if we get to the end, the realistic situation is maybe it doesn't work out, then at least we want to go and know that we gave everything we have and we fought for everything. So that's the mindset we're in, and I really look forward to the game tomorrow.
Kickoff is 6 p.m. Meanwhile, Ange Postecoglou is back in the Premier League 3 months after being sacked from Spurs. Nottingham Forest appointed him as Nuno Espírito Santo's replacement 12 hours after sacking the coach. The Portuguese manager had shared last month that he had a breakdown in his relationship with owner Evangelos Marinakis. During his 2-year stay at the former European champions, Santos secured a survival in the 23-24 season after a 4-point deduction, and then followed that up by guiding them to European football for the first time in 3 decades. And in cricket, England may be in the midst of hosting the Proteas, but they also are readying up for the Ashes. They've received a major boost with Test captain Ben Stokes set to resume training after a shoulder injury, and he'll be ready for the showdown against Australia. Meanwhile, fast bowler Mark Wood is in line to return to action next week. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 17 minutes to 5, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Delays in Bedford View, out in the east as well. What's going on?
Yeah, heading towards the Gilulis interchange, bumper traffic in the Bedford View area, N3 in both directions. This is between Modderfontein Road and the Geldenhuys interchange. Not yet clear what's causing this delay at this hour, but if you're on that route, please let me know. You can WhatsApp me, WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. There's also slow-moving traffic driving through the Joburg CBD on the M1 southbound between Killarney Benz and the Crown interchange. Leaving Sandton, there's some traffic pressure. This is on Catherine Street between Sandton Drive and Greyston, while in Protea Lane heading into Lenasia. You can still expect about a 20-minute delay on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Hermanstad leaving the Pretoria CBD. Traffic is sluggish on Eskiam Pahlele. This is between Van der Hof and the R80. I'll have your next Eyewitness News traffic update just after 5.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Explore the wonders of Mpumalanga. Discover the ultimate wildlife experience that brings you closer to nature. Get your adrenaline rush with endless adventure activities. Explore breathtaking 4x4 routes or hike the Blader River Canyon, the 3rd largest in the world. Unwind with spectacular landscapes and majestic waterfalls. Make Mpumalanga your destination of choice. Mpumalanga, embrace the unknown, live the adventure. This message is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Visit mpumalanga.com for more information.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We were talking, as we often do, before the show and after the show, and somehow the questions about family came up. And one of the things that I found particularly interesting was the way this idea bounced around and the differing views about whether you have tried to have conversations with your parents about things in your childhood that you kind of felt, okay, well, why did you go about things that way, or how come we never did, or we always did, or whatever? The stuff that you carry out of your childhood into your young adult life, partly, I guess, because you're trying to figure out things related to your own life, but also if you've got children of your own, you may be thinking, well, I maybe want to do this the way they did it, or I want to do it very differently to the way they went about things. And then, of course, you've got the situation, as in my case, where my parents have both passed. So those conversations are no longer possible. But I'd be interested to know if anybody or any of you have got important and useful stories maybe to tell about how you managed over time and over a generational divide and through all the sometimes complex relationships of family, managed to have some of those conversations. I don't know, Anthony, is that something that's come up in your life that you'd be happy to chat about?
Yeah, I've got a pretty decent relationship with my mom.
Yeah.
And so we've been able to have conversations where it's sort of questions around my upbringing and, her not getting married after my dad had passed away and, whether she felt that there needed to be a man in the house or not. And those conversations, I always know that the conversation needs to end like now, because there's a certain certain like frequency. There's like a bounce in her voice where I'm like, this is just about to start a fight. We are right there. We can see the rage building. And so you just got to walk away at that moment. And then you can then broach the subject like 2 or 3 days later from exactly the same point, but because nothing's built up, you can then get further along in the conversation. So my advice is take it slow and steady. Have these conversations over 3 or 4 or 5 meetings rather than just trying to go all at once.
Yeah, and have your vibration in voice detector handy and very well calibrated. I mean, there are some people who may just say, look, things are best left, what's in the past is in the past. I when I did have those conversations, partly there were things I wanted to better understand, but there were also just things I was curious about, like what was your thinking, what was going on in your mind. I'd say I had mixed success. Karabo Chale, is this a road you've walked or a road you are at least getting a map for?
Well, I've just tried to, in the past, ask my parents, but then there was no really space for it. When you're growing up and you want to go sleep over at Anthony's house and your mother says no. But then there was no room for, but how come? Why not?
Yes.
So they didn't owe me an explanation
because
at all.
I say so.
Because I say so, I'm your parent, But with me, it's totally different. When I say no and my son asks why, I try to come up with a decent explanation so that at least he understands and he's reassured.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting area. So give us your thoughts, because, we often talk about the negotiations and the complex things we have to sort out as a country, but each of us in many ways are, regularly having our own cadesses and versions of that. Give us a call if you've got a story to share, and like Anthony, if you've got some good advice, give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702.
John Perlman
on 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
702 Drive. It's 11 minutes to 5 o'clock. Green Tip of the Week is brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo. Each week we'll highlight someone or something impacting the way we can be greener, cleaner, smarter, healthier, and eco-friendly. Now, one of the things that many of you do, I would think, at home is you cook with oil. And if you like making chips, well, you get to use quite a bit of oil. And then at a certain point, the oil has had its chips and you cannot keep using it. So what do you do with cooking oil? Is there a safe way of getting rid of it without in any way compromising the ecosystems in which we all live. John Williamson is CEO and owner of Scope Oils Africa, and he joins us now on 702 Drive. John, welcome. It's good to have you with us, and thanks for your time on the show. Recycling used cooking oil. Give us the key do's, and we can then go on to the don'ts.
John, thanks a lot for this. John, key do's. I think you're trying to see what the guys should do with the oil to dispose of it. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
I mean, yeah, or if you want to start with the don'ts, we're also happy there.
Well, actually, don't put the oil down the drain. Obviously, that's first prize.
Yes.
And we need the oil. So for your guys, we're trying to dispose of oil. We have had our challenges with household oil, but in accumulating it. But for us, it's just that you guys have to rebottle it is what we want you guys to do, and then just give us a call. We take it, and then we send it to green initiatives on the biodiesel side for sustainable diesel, if you want to call it that. Not really anything else I can tell you on that.
Yeah. So, John, tell us, what does recycled cooking oil get used for? Clearly, there's a business angle in that.
Okay, it's not really recycled. Maybe so. Let's put that into perspective first of all. So we take the used oil, all right, and then we just clean it up a little bit. From there, we supply to the biodiesel manufacturers. So to make green diesel, if you want to call it that, because that's what a lot of people do call it. And obviously, that's to help the more sustainable green energy, so we don't have all the carbon emissions which are always destroying our planet, our air, so to speak. So yeah.
How much, are you seeing a greater take-up for your services, or more and more people becoming aware of the need to do this properly?
Okay, I think maybe what I said in the beginning was what I actually should repeat as well. So on the household side, we have battled because it's very difficult to get support from the household side, because it is something I don't think that people think enough about it. And I suppose there we have to try and market it a little bit differently. We're currently busy with a project where we're going to try and implement a system where the guys will be like possibly on an app, and then they will then let us know, and then because we have scheduled collection areas countrywide where the guys could move around and collect and then take it away from there. So I think the biggest challenge we have is accumulating household oil. But the support we have on the corporate side and restaurants, okay, there we have great support, really good support from the national groups on corporate and on the restaurant side. So there we have really, really good support. And we accumulate quite a fair volume, and which we can then obviously keep our biodiesel plants going, which we have to supply.
Thanks very much, John Williamson, CEO of Scope Oils Africa. We'll have another green idea for you at the same time next Tuesday. Now, remember when you had to wait for dial-up to connect? Technology moves on, so why are people still driving cars like it's 1999? Volvo's plug-in hybrids are the upgrade you've been waiting for. You don't need diesel power, you just need a second electric motor. Just like you updated from dial-up to fiber, you can upgrade your drive with electric for the city and fuel for the open road. Don't be the last one to catch up. You are late for your test drive. It's safe to be brave with Volvo. Green Tip of the Week was brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo. Tune in again next week, Tuesday, for another Green Tip of the Week.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Why have you decided as the MK party to file a formal complaint?
The MK party is a party that respects the rule of law. We cannot have a situation where when we take power, then the rand is going to tank, because now it's all these reckless, irresponsible people that are destroyers that are taking over. Self-interest activities like this one. This is a DA self-interest issue that is being articulated using a cabinet position. This is abuse of office.
Mzwanele Mani.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring Netcare. The Group CEO, Dr. Richard Friedland, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for optometrists, surgeons, and other medical specialists. Here's Chrissy.
Business Outsurance is the best insurer for my business. They have great premiums, wonderful service. I know without a doubt that Outsurance has my back, and you always get something out with Outsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Last orders coming through during your drive home or at midnight. Your customers check out whenever, wherever. With seamless payment integration and over 18 ways to get paid, PayFast by Network is built to keep up. And when it's time to grow, funding with Easy Advance helps you take the next step. Always open for late nights, for early starts, for you. Sign up today at payfast.io. PayFast has partnered with TimeBank to offer funding to your business.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Every business begins with heart, but it thrives with the support of its community. And no one backs Gauteng's entrepreneurial dreamers like 702, Yoko, and you. Over the past few weeks, we asked you to nominate and vote your favorite local businesses, and you showed up big time. Now the spotlight shifts to the winners, Gauteng's Greatest. We've been going through the categories in the course of the day. Now we focus on Greatest Beauty Salon or Spa. And the winner in that category is called the Major Brow Bar. And we're joined in the studio by Nikita Goddard, who's founder and owner. Nikita, welcome and many congratulations. What got you into this business? What made you decide, okay, I'm going to take the plunge and see what I can do?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I must say, I actually didn't know I won until right now. So
Okay. Okay.
This is major.
Great. Well,
see what I did
that's
there.
fabulous indeed.
So I actually, Major Brow Bar was born in the middle of lockdown.
Okay.
I have been a makeup artist for a bajillion years. My career was kind of paused because of COVID, and seeing brow laminations start trending in SA towards the end of 2019, it felt like a natural sort of pivot for me. And the rest is basically history. I've basically been building this business one brow at a time.
Yeah, it really is remarkable. I mean, some people would say that in COVID, and I assume as a makeup artist you were in the film industry in one way, shape or form, that goes south. But starting a business would have taken some nerve as well. I mean, when was the moment when you thought, okay, I'm over the scariest bit, or is that still to come?
I don't think it's come yet.
Okay.
I think as a business owner, you're never past the scariest bit, are you?
Yes.
You're always striving for bigger, for better,
Yes.
you know? So I think it's still coming. Hopefully I'll be fighting for it forever.
Why do you think people love Major Brow Bar as much as they did? I mean, obviously, you've got to be providing a very, very high standard because my sense is it's a competitive space. But if you were to describe the atmosphere you've looked to create, because people are spending a lot of time with you and they're not dropping a car off for a service.
Yeah.
What goes on at Major Brow Bar that maybe makes people come back?
So for me, it's not just about brows. It's about connection. It's about care. It's about consistency. I've built Major Brow Bar with intention, one appointment at a time.
Yes.
You know, every brow is customized. Every visit is personal, and every product or technique I use is chosen with love and precision. So I'm not chasing trends. I'm sort of curating timeless beauty with a modern twist.
I would think that the people who work for you have to be obviously.
It's just me.
Oh, is it just you?
It's just me.
It's a one-person
One-woman
operation.
show. Yeah.
Okay, and is that how you plan to keep it, or?
No, I mean, I think as any small business owner, you always have the dream and the goals to expand, and I am like every other business owner, and that is the dream and the goal for me, you know.
Well, hopefully this is a step in the right direction of that expansion, but also Nikita Goddard, founder and owner of Major Brow Bar, a step in the right direction, because your excellence has not gone unnoticed. We see you. You are the best of the best in Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Congratulations
again.
again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You've just been voted Gauteng's greatest beauty spa salon, and your bookings are filling up fast. Yoko Counters got your back with one smart, beautifully designed point-of-sale system that accepts payments and tracks sales, staff, and stock, all from the counter. It is the smartest till you will ever own. Ready to upgrade your business? Go to yoko.com. And remember to show our winners some love. Visit them and experience their excellence firsthand. Keep supporting local small businesses and stay listening to 702, because there are more winners still to be revealed. 702 Drive, it's 5 o'clock.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
This is EWN.
A Mamelodi police officer holds his family hostage, and Shadrack Sibiya loses his bid to return to work. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. It's the news just in this hour. A police officer is holding his family hostage in a house in Mamelodi, east of Pretoria this afternoon. Officers say the man, who is armed, has been in the house since 8 this morning and has fired shots. Hostage negotiators and Special Task Force Police are currently on the scene. Gauteng Police spokesperson Brenda Morididi believes the ordeal has been caused by a family dispute. She says the scene remains active.
At this stage, we know that he has requested that the media must be called there, and that he's asking for the police to give him a loudspeaker. But as for why, what is the reason that he's holding his family hostage, it is not clear as yet. We believe that there was a family dispute.
Let's stay with other policing matters now. Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, has lost his bid to return to work. The Pretoria High Court dismissed Sibiya's urgent application, which would have seen him return to work after being placed on leave of absence in July. Sibiya has been battling his boss, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola, in court over whether the decision to place him on leave of absence was lawful. Sibiya's attorney, Ian Levitt, says this is not the end.
That respects the decision of the court, and after consultation with our client, it is instructions to appeal the judgment.
Let's move to the Western Cape now, where Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says he doesn't think Western Cape Police have a plan yet to defeat gangs. Kachalia was addressing Mitchell's Plain residents today during a meeting about crime. The minister is in Cape Town this week to engage residents from crime-ridden areas about plans to combat the prevalence of gang violence in the city. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
Mitchell's Plain is one of the areas on the Cape Flats experiencing a surge in gang-related shootings recently. Interim Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says police need a no-nonsense approach when dealing with gangs.
We need to go on the offensive against the drug lords, stabilize our communities, make sure that we are in charge, our people are in charge, not the criminals. But the plan we need to defeat the gangs, I don't believe that plan is yet in place.
Kachalia says the country is behind the curve in fighting gangs and organized crime syndicates. Ndotozelo Nene, Eyewitness News in Cape Town.
We shift our focus to this now. President Cyril Ramaphosa has hailed last month's national convention as a great success and not a Mickey Mouse event. But answering questions in the National Assembly this afternoon, Ramaphosa would not be drawn into the background politics of last month's precursor event, which saw several legacy foundations withdrawing. But he insists that the initial 740 million rand price tag was not the key reason for them pulling out. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says he personally gave the order to reduce the cost of the national dialogue, which is expected to last 9 months. But he insists the dialogue must be citizen-led and says he doesn't plan to get involved in the squabbles of the organisers. Ramaphosa says he's instructed government to adopt a hands-off approach to the dialogue.
This is not the president's dialogue. The people of South Africa called for the dialogue.
Ramaphosa says he didn't think it was prudent to stop last month's convention because planning was already too far advanced.
Decision for me to, as it was planned, to convene it was a collective decision. It was not one person's decision.
Ramaphosa says moving forward, the steering committee will take its lead from civil society and government's only involvement will be to provide the money. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
To this now, newly released data indicates that issues related to government's provision of food, water and healthcare are the most frequently reported human rights violations in the country. This emerged from a series of reports published today by the South African Human Rights Commission, which examined government's management of human rights affairs. The Chapter 9 institution received over 2,300 complaints in the last financial year, the majority of which concerned the eThekwini as well as the Cape Town municipalities. Head of Research Martin Ntsibira says the findings reveal widespread dissatisfaction with the current provision of basic services.
The highest number of complaints was in the area of socio-economic rights, the areas relating to healthcare, food, water and social security. We had the highest complaints of race-related matters, racism.
And in Nepal, youth protesters have set fire to parliament after the veteran Prime Minister obeyed calls by furious crowds to quit. The deadly protests, in which at least 19 people have been killed, started yesterday. They were fueled by demands that the government lift a ban on social media and tackle corruption. Today, demonstrators attacked and set fire to Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's house. Smoke also covered Nepal's parliament as demonstrators set the building ablaze. Gold is trading at $3,661.20 an ounce. The rand is at 17.50 to the dollar, 23.73 to the pound, 20.54 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.02 a barrel.
City of Tshwane, there's slow-moving traffic in Hermanstad leaving the Pretoria CBD on Eskiam Pahlele between Van der Hof and the R80. There's also traffic delays. This is in the Groenkloof area on George Storer Drive between Tutoy and the Fountain Circle, and in Waterkloof there's slow-moving traffic N1 North between the R21 Flying Saucer interchange and the Proof Plus interchange.
And in your sport, Bafana looking to end Nigeria's World Cup qualification chase as well as boosting their own. Harry Kane says England have discussed the possibility of racism in their World Cup qualifier against Serbia, and the latest from the SA20 auction.
A fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy in the afternoon. Johannesburg dropping to an overnight low of 13 degrees, peaking at 27. Pretoria 15 and 28, and Vereniging 12 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: a police officer is holding his family hostage in a house in Mamelodi, east of Pretoria this afternoon.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 8 minutes past 5. It's good to have you with us on the show. Coming up, we're going to be chatting to former Bafana goalkeeper Andre Arendse. Why is it so difficult to play well and win against Nigeria? They've been formidable opponents. Yeah, we've won a couple of games, but it's an undeniable truth that the Super Eagles have won more than we have. Huge amount on the line for both teams in Bloemfontein. A win makes sure that Bafana go to the United States, Canada and Mexico for the World Cup next year. The Nigerians have a bigger ask. They've got to win 3 games, their next 3, in order to stand a chance to make it to the global showpiece. Andre Arendse has seen the inside of a few stadiums with Nigerian green in front of him and heading his way. He'll have some interesting things to say, I'm sure. We'll chat to him at about 5:15. We've asked you a couple of questions in the course of the day. Some of you have been responding, but I'd very much like to get your stories about how you've gone about having difficult conversations with parents about things in your family past. Did you try and give up? Did you try and perhaps were glad that you did? Or maybe you decided that, well, what's done is done and there's nothing more to talk about. And maybe you, someone more my age, and your children are coming to you and saying, hey, why was or what about that? Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702. It's 10 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Pretoria, tough. If you're in a car at the moment, it would seem. Karabo Chale is here to update you.
Yes, John, we have a few issues, delays in the city of Tshwane. Let me start in Hermanstad, the slow-moving traffic on Eskiam Pahlele between Van der Hof and the R80 in Groenkloof. Traffic heavily backed up on George Storer Drive between Dutoy and the Fountain Circle. In Waterkloof, there's also slow-moving traffic on the N1 northbound. This is from the R21 Flying Saucer interchange all the way to the Proof Plus interchange. Bedford View, bumper-to-bumper traffic. That's heading towards Germiston. N3 southbound between the Butlu interchange and Van Buren, while in Midrand, traffic remains sluggish heading towards Pretoria. N1 north between the Butlu interchange and Samrand. Also driving through the Joburg CBD coming from the Melrose area. There's slow-moving traffic. M1 south between Ethel Oaklands and the Crown interchange, while in Southgate traveling towards Diepkloof, traffic is congested on the N12 westbound approaching the M1 Uncle Charlie's interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
20 years ago, you were driving to the venue where you exchanged your vows. And 20 years ago, the Outsurance pointsmen were on the roads easing traffic congestion. Whether you're an Outsurance client or not, we've all been getting something out. Show the Outsurance pointsmen some love this month and celebrate this 20th anniversary using #PointsmenLove. From Johannesburg, Tshwane and Paul to Stellenbosch, let's celebrate. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
One of the evidence leaders for the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry into Police believes there will be evidence that the commission hears which won't be made public. Advocate Matthew Chaskelson, who was part of the evidence leaders of the Zondo Commission into State Capture, spoke to the media during a briefing in Pretoria yesterday.
Some of the evidence we gather will include evidence from undercover agents who have been placed in criminal syndicates by the SAPS and who the SAPS use in their attempts to break these criminal syndicates.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Feel the exhilarating power and performance. Feel the anticipation of a new adventure around every corner. Feel the breathtaking wonder of Mzansi's epic scenery. Feel the luxe vibes and the good times. Feel it all and more with the Ultimate Shelf V-Power VIP experience. Spend 750 rands 3 times this month and tap your V Plus rewards card for a chance to win one of 5 epic road trip and trek experiences for 2. T's and C's apply.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So many big days and nights in South African sport at the moment, and it doesn't get bigger, really, on the Bafana calendar than a match against Nigeria. At the moment, our national team is in a great position to top their group, qualifying Group C. But they're up against Nigeria, a team that we have always struggled to beat. Hovering in the background is still the possible cloud that we could be docked 3 points for fielding the suspended Teboho Mokoena in a 2-0 win over Lesotho back in March. But I guess at the end of the day, it all remains simple for Hugo Bruce and his team. Go out there, play, and set out your stall to win. There's no other way to go about it, I would have thought. But this is Nigeria. So why have they been so tough for us in the past, given that they've often lost to countries that have less of an African football pedigree than Bafana does? Andre Aronso would know all about that, having been goalkeeper for Bafana over many years, and he joins us now. Andre, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. Nigeria, obviously tough to go and play at their big venues in front of huge crowds, but in general, we've struggled against the Super Eagles. Why is that?
Mr. Perlman, good afternoon. Yeah, thanks for having me again on the show. Well, that's a very good question. And for some reason over the years, we have struggled. Even in my day, I remember playing in a Nations Cup tournament proper and getting to the last stages of the competition, only to come up against Nigeria and having lost 2-0 to them. Wanko Khan, I remember getting on the score sheet for them then. So I think they're a very imposing side, stature-wise for one, and also experience. We've always come up against a Nigeria team who are very experienced on the continent, but also a lot of the players plying their trade in Europe. So they come with massive pedigrees, and I think that's always been tough for us to handle. I do like how we've turned that around in recent times, especially with our current Bafana team. And when I look at the group that we've had to navigate through now, we've pretty much been dominant. So as you said up front there, set up the team to win games. So that's exactly what Hugo Bruce has done marvelously well over this campaign. With 13 goals scored, only 5 against, they've peaked at both ends. They've been able to keep clean sheets as the back four along with Runwin, but they've also been banging in the goals way ahead of other teams in the group, including Nigeria. And that, for me, if you can dominate a group like that, you've got very little worry. And you almost want to say that this is Bafana's qualification to lose.
Yes.
They've been so dominant in the group. So I would imagine that even though it's Nigeria tonight, I think that Hugo Bruce will have no worries in terms of setting up the team again to go and win the game.
Yeah, Andre, I want to go back to something you said in the beginning. Very physically imposing, very, very confident players that confronted South African teams over the many years when they played against Nigeria. There is a story, I have no idea if it's true, but I think in our first team that played against Nigeria, Bennett Masinga, who was not the biggest, although he was a fabulous striker, came on the field for the warm-up, and a couple of Nigerian players, the story goes, came to him and said, "Are you the mascot?" And I'm sure they knew he wasn't, but it was a way of saying, listen, but do they bring that in the form of actual muscle on the pitch, or is it more an aura of self-confidence without them necessarily being particularly hard men?
I think back in the day they did. They actually certainly talked the talk for me, if you like, and they brought that along with a massive physicality to the game. I think that's become a little bit subdued in recent times,
right,
where it's a lot more talk than actual out muscling, and I think that we've been able to withstand that, and so it hasn't really worked in recent times, but I do think it's especially when you go and play in Nigeria, it's very intimidating. I know that we've come up against that in the past, but I think we've come a long way in terms of our experience on the continent and coming up against your powerhouses of African football. And Nigeria have always been one of those. But I just think that, when I look at our current national team, there are not many big imposing players in the team. But there's a lot of confidence around the team in terms of in and out of possession of the ball. So we are not intimidated by opposition, and I think that we're going to be even less so in this particular game tonight.
Thank you so much. A very, very confident Andre Aronsa. How are you feeling about this match? It is extremely, extremely important, I think, for our football that we make our way to World Cup 2026. And the team, as Andre said, playing some really good football at the moment. 19 minutes past 5.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
From corner cafes to trailblazing startups, small businesses are the heartbeat of Gauteng. And behind Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 is Yoko, a company dedicated to helping small businesses grow. We're joined now by Yoko's new VP of Marketing, Anne-Marie Herfinger, to talk about why these awards matter and what it means for local entrepreneurs. Anne-Marie, welcome. It's great to have you with us, and thank you above all for this fabulous partnership. We've enjoyed it. Our listeners have enjoyed it a great deal as well. But what is Yoko's role in supporting small businesses? Clearly, it's your product, but there's clearly as well much more besides that's driving you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me. It's great to be on the show with you. I think, for us at Yoko, we exist really to empower independent business owners. We know that running an independent business takes grit, resilience, constant innovation, and it's often such a lonely journey. Our role is really to take away some of that load by giving entrepreneurs the right tools, from payments to point of sale, so that they can focus on what matters most, serving their customers and growing. It's very close to our hearts because we are also independent. We're founded by entrepreneurs, and we exist because of these entrepreneurs, our merchants, and the amazing independent businesses that they create and grow. And we know that when independent business thrives, the economy does too.
Yeah, it really is a thing. I mean, what made you get involved in Gauteng's greatest? Obviously, we're delighted that you did. We've really enjoyed it, not only as a partner and our own commitment to small business. It's made for great radio as well. But what got you guys in the first place?
Well, thanks to you for the wonderful partnership that we've experienced. 702 has been a wonderful partner to us. We've been watching Gauteng's greatest really unfold with such excitement. And we got into this because we believe in the mission of independent business, its contribution to South Africa's people and her economy, both in terms of the amazing products and services they provide, but also the livelihoods that they support and the jobs that they create. And this gave us the perfect opportunity to just uplift businesses,
Yes.
spotlight them, give them an opportunity to reach a broader audience, especially during the lower months of the year. We are moving into the kind of December peak now, but we know August and September is quite a quiet period, and this is a great opportunity to just drum up some popularity in the business.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through all the categories today. It's been a huge amount of fun. Best burger joint, etc., etc. But one of the real highlights of what we've been doing together is the Yoko's Choice Awards. So, Anne-Marie, can you do the honors and tell us who this year's Yoko's Choice Award goes to?
Sure, a little drum roll, and the Yoko's Choice Award this year goes to Delta Cafe.
Delta Cafe. I know the spot well. I cycle past it every single Sunday. I must remember to stop cycling and go and do some eating. But it just so happens, except none of these things just so happen, that Daniel Bosch, Daniel Delta Cafe's owner and clearly very involved in the business, is with us in the studio. Daniel, many, many congratulations. This is a very special part of the Gauteng's Greatest Awards. Congratulations. Tell us why you think Delta Cafe is so special. You obviously do.
Thank you very much. Why are we special? We're special because of the people that are there, the people that work there, and the community that we're in.
And for people who haven't been there, I mean, the setting is gorgeous. The physical space you've created for people to enjoy themselves, both as adults and children, is really quite excellent as well. But when you set out to make Delta Cafe what it is, what did you have in mind?
There was no plan. I just kept saying yes.
Okay.
So we started off with 6 tables, and we grew a little bit further, and we grew a little bit further. And not many people know that the reason we're there is that our landlord is the Rio Foundation. We've got 40 epileptic patients in permanent care, 1 block up. And there used to be a cell phone tower next to my restaurant.
Right.
That got pulled out. one of the board members came to me and said, if we build a bar, because we need to get that money back for the foundation, will you run it? And I was like, yes.
Okay.
And then we kind of got to know each other, and subsequently Angus and I became good mates and business partners. And without him, we wouldn't be here as well. He's given us the ability to grow like this. And then from there, we've just exploded exponentially, which has been amazing, not only for us, but also for the foundation.
So I'm going to ask you, what's the one bit of advice, and you can have 2 or 3 if you like, because clearly you're doing really well, that you would give to other entrepreneurs or business owners, and it may not always say yes, but what else?
Have a good group of mates.
Yes.
Mates that will call you on decisions you make that you think are good, but that might be bad. Listen to other people. Listen to your staff. And also just, this industry, by default, anyone who's involved in this industry, marriage or through anything like that, your partner's almost become a restaurant widow or a widower.
Yes.
So, acknowledge that sacrifice that also gets made, because it's not just about the restaurant, it's about the community and the people that come in to make it. You spend more time with your staff than you do with your own families some days.
Daniel Bosch, owner of Delta Cafe, which is the 2025 Yoko's Choice Award winner. Anne-Marie, I want to give you the last word on a couple of things. Not only are you backing entrepreneurs through Gauteng's Greatest and your partnership with us, but you've very much focused on them with your products. Tell us a little bit about Yoko Counter and how you think this is actually helping South African entrepreneurs thrive, because this is wonderful, this is a celebration, but that really is your daily bread, I would think.
Absolutely. As I said in the beginning, we really exist to help independent business thrive, and we've been doing that for over 10 years now. It's such an exciting time in the business. We've built such deep insight in terms of understanding independent businesses and how we can help them grow. And so not only do we have Yoko Counter, which is our super simple and super smart point of sale a device that's integrated with our payment solution, really just designed to take the messy workflows out of the lives of our merchants and make things simple and easy, like turning manual cash ups into automated cash ups and stock takes and staff tracking into simple presses of the button. But we've also got a whole suite of products that we'll be launching throughout the next couple of months and years to come. We have a long and deep pipeline that are really just designed to enable business to grow and thrive, because we believe in a level playing field for smaller and independent businesses. And we believe in the contribution and the backbone that they make up of our South African economy. And when we see growth from that perspective, that's what we're here to do.
Well, again, thank you for the partnership. Thank you for the excitement you've created. And above all, Anne-Marie Hofinger, thanks so much for acknowledging the businesses, not just as entrepreneurs, but as little pillars in our society, because all around them are people who appreciate and love what they do. And that's why we've brought our listeners in to make these choices. But you, of course, as Yoko, have made your choice of the 2025 Yoko's Choice Award. Anne-Marie Hofinger is VP of Marketing, and Daniel Bosch is the owner of Delta Cafe, which is in the northwest of Johannesburg. Congratulations to you once again.
Thank you very much.
702 Drive. We got one more award still to come on Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702 and Yoko. That's coming up in about 15 minutes' time. But right now, at 28 minutes past 5, let's bring you the very latest business news.
You're with John Perlman
on 702. EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. I don't know. You don't
Sorry,
know.
I was just shaking the hand of someone I like eating where he cooks.
Oh, right.
So if you'll just excuse me for a sec.
And
nice to meet you.
And he likes cooking what you eat. It's a match.
Why does he charge for it then? John, the JSE All Share up 0.44% at 103,228 points. After quite a busy day, we had big increases from Anglo and from SPAR. Financials up 0.36%, Industrials up 0.79%, Resources up 0.08%. On the day. The gold price not quite doing what it's been doing over the last few days, but still in extraordinary territory. But the story of the day is Anglo up 8.99%. They've confirmed that merger with the Canadian miner Teck. The two boards say it will be on equal terms. John, I don't know. The CEO of Anglo is going to be the CEO of Anglo Tech, and the CEO of Tech is going to be the deputy CEO. So you tell me. But it will create the 5th biggest mining company in the world. A lot of this story is about copper and exposure to copper. Glencore up 6.32% on the day, and Spar up 5.85% after they confirmed they've been finally able to sell their units in Switzerland. They've got just over R1 billion for it. They'll use it to pay back debt. They want to sell their unit in the UK. I think they're breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. That situation in Switzerland's been very difficult for them. Richmond up 2.69%, and then Aspen up 2.6%. Some of the platinum miners weaker. Sibanye down 5%, Implat's down 3.72%, Valterra down 2.31% on the day. And then took a quick look at some of the retail stocks through the day to see how they're reacting to the news that Walmart is coming. They seem to be fairly positive. Pick n Pay, ShopRite, Spar, of course, all up on the day, so clearly not particularly concerned about the fact that Walmart is coming. A lot of news coming out of the US, John. So I spoke an hour ago about that revision to jobs numbers. It's come out now, and it now looks like the jobs are being revised down by 911,000 over the past year in the US. What this basically means is that a lot fewer people are employed than was previously thought. That strengthens the case for an interest rate cut, but it also is bad news for the economy. The Dow Jones up 0.15, the Nasdaq down 0.15, the S&P 500 down 0.08 at the moment. The gold price, $3,640.40 an ounce. Platinum, $1,371.10. Brent crude, $67 a barrel at the moment. Just watching Brent crude slightly, has jumped $1 or so since that Israeli attack on the Hamas negotiating team in Qatar. The rand to the dollar 17.54, to the euro 20.55, to the British pound 23.73. On the Money Show tonight, more of course on the Anglo merger, that deal. We'll talk also about the GDP figures, and then we will also be we'll be speaking in fact to Shell this evening about their seismic surveys. Looking forward to that conversation. Stephen Krutis, EWN Business.
702 Drive. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news now with Mbali Dlamini. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. A police officer is currently holding his family hostage in a house in Mamelodi, east of Pretoria this afternoon. Officers say the man, who is armed, has been in the house since 8 this morning and has fired shots. Hostage negotiators and Special Task Force Police are currently on the scene. Gauteng Police spokesperson Brenda Moridile believes the ordeal has been caused by a family dispute. She says the scene is currently active.
At this stage, we know that he has requested that the media must be called there, and that he's asking for the police to give him a loudspeaker. But as for why, what is the reason that he's holding his family hostage, it is not clear as yet. We believe that there was a family dispute.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says the Post Bank is not yet ready to be granted a license to function as a fully fledged state-owned bank. He says the struggling entity, which serves mostly rural and poor communities, must clear a few compliance hurdles before it can establish itself as South Africa's government-owned commercial bank. Ramaphosa has been responding to questions during a question and answer session in the National Assembly today. Babalondenze has more.
President Cyril Ramaphosa was asked by ANC Chief Whip Mdumiseni Ntuli whether the government has established the need to capitalize the Post Bank to ensure its viability. Ramaphosa was also asked on the establishment of a state bank, which will entail the licensing of the Post Bank. He told the National Assembly that the Post Bank is still having serious governance challenges and doesn't yet meet the requirements.
Now, according to the minister, the Post Bank has not yet fully met the conditions for a banking license, particularly around its card key management processes and the compliance with the prudential standards that are required.
Ramaphosa says the Post Bank's immediate challenge is to strengthen its governance and make sure the bank is compliant with prudential standards and to stabilize its own finances. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
To this now, Sandparks says increased boots on the ground alone will not ensure less crime in the Table Mountain National Park. Ongoing muggings and assaults in the park remain a concern as the warmer months approach. Just 5 days ago, a woman was assaulted and robbed in the park while hiking on the pipe track near Camps Bay. Sandparks briefed Parliament's Portfolio Committee on the Environment, Forestry and Fisheries today on challenges faced in the park. Carlo Peterson reports.
Sandpark CEO Apilwe Selo says the vast size of Table Mountain National Park makes it almost impossible to police. Selo says increased policing and rangers have resulted in a drop in crime on the mountain.
We continue to invest in boots on the ground. It's a clear focus that we have. We do have plans in terms of vacancy management.
However, Selo says boots on the ground can only cover so much.
Where technology can assist us to cover vast tracts of land to determine and have a helicopter, literally helicopter view of what's happening in the land that we manage, we are going to utilize it.
Selo says drones are now being piloted as a crime prevention measure in the park. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And at least 9 pig heads have been found outside several mosques in the Paris region. The city's police chief says the incident has sparked alarm over rising anti-Muslim hatred. The last name of the French president, Emmanuel Macron, was also painted in blue at one of the locations. The consumption of pork is forbidden in Islam as the meat is considered to be impure. Police have launched an investigation for incitement to hatred aggravated by discrimination based on race and religion. A fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy in the afternoon. Lows of between 12 and 15 degrees and highs of between 27 and 28.
In Centurion, there's an accident scene N14 northbound before Jean Avenue, causing huge delays from the N1 Old Joburg Road, Kempton Park. Also traffic sluggish on CR Swart between Pretoria Road and Zierfontein Road, and in Noordgesig heading into Soweto, traffic gridlocked. N17 westbound between the N1 and the Soweto Highway.
The top story in EWN, a police officer is currently holding his family hostage in a house in Mamelodi, east of Pretoria, this afternoon.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Olusegun Adeleke, founder of Pack App. What inspired you to actually develop this app?
If you notice that the problem that PAC is basically solving is actually a general one. It's a global problem. Access to expertise, access to the direct people, access to the likes of yourself. All right. So basically, the idea of having to solve a problem.
PAAQ. Why spelled like that, if I may ask?
Please ask any question.
Oh! Listen, do we not get the coolest guests on this show?
Hello?
Please ask any question. Okay, I'm sold. I'm downloading the app right now.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Remember when you had to wait for dial-up to connect? Technology moves on, so why are people still driving cars like it's 1999? Volvo's plug-in hybrids are the upgrade you've been waiting for. You don't need diesel power, you just need a second electric motor. Just like you updated from dial-up to fiber, you can upgrade your drive with electric for the city and fuel for the open road. Don't be the last one to catch up. You're late for your test drive. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
One festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Toliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
That's the sound of your business growing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, turn your passion into profit with Capitec Business Banking. Save up to 50% on fees. Get fast credit approvals, personalized support, and Forex for your business. Open your business banking account on our app. Bank on better with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Capitec is an authorized FSP. 46669. T's and C's apply.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira, we're about 21 minutes away from kickoff. You've got all the sport.
Yeah, that's right. Good afternoon, John. Bafana set to tackle Nigeria in the second of their World Cup qualifiers this international break. EWN sports reporter Tolakele Mganga has this Bafana squad for us.
There are 4 changes made by Hugo Bruce for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier between South Africa and Nigeria here at the Free State Stadium. Mbegezeli Mbogazi retains his place in the back 4, while in come Siyabonga Ngezana, Zugo Mkinyelwa and Samkelo Kadini. The 4th change sees Batusi Obas come in for Talent Mbata, while the attack is once again led by Lyle Foster, Maham Gota and Oshuna Polis, who all scored against Lesotho. With South Africa enjoying a 6-point lead over the Super Eagles, they know that a win tonight, coupled with drop points for Rwanda and Benin, would see them seal a berth at next year's World Cup. Tolakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sports, reporting live from Bloemfontein.
In selected European qualifiers, Portugal head to Hungary and England are in Serbia. The Serbian FA called on its supporters to behave this evening. Over the past 5 years, they've been fined more than 600,000 euros by FIFA and UEFA, with 15% of the Belgrade Stadium closed to home fans this evening as punishment for racist chanting in a game against Andorra. English captain Harry Kane shared that the players have discussed the matter.
Well, we're prepared to do what UEFA protocols allow us to do. I thought we handled that situation away in Bulgaria really well. And yeah, it'll be no different. You know, these are things that are hard to talk about now because we don't know if it's going to happen or not. But ultimately, like I said, we're prepared and we had a discussion as a group so that if the event does happen, we'll be prepared to do what's necessary.
And the SA20 player auction has been taking place. Pretoria Capitals have snatched up Devil Brevos for a record 16.5 million rand, as well as signing up Keshav Maharaj. Durban Super Giants have also spent big on Proteas. T20 captain Aiden Markram, Quentin Mapaka and Gerald Kutsia have been signed up, while Vian Mulder and Nanda Berger were picked up by the Joburg Super Kings. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 20 minutes to 6, this Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Karabo Chale, accident out in Centurion. Certainly hope it's nothing too serious, but traffic implications.
Yeah, no, definitely accident scene on the N14 northbound. This is before Jean Avenue, causing huge delays all the way from the N1 Old Joburg Road. So if you're leaving Midrand, heading towards Pretoria CBD, try to avoid the N14. Rather use Boerta Avenue, Old Joburg Road, or even the R21 as alternatives. Hermanstad also leaving the Pretoria CBD. Slow-moving traffic on Eskiam Pahlele between Van der Hof and the R18 Kempton Park. Traffic sluggish. CR Swart between Pretoria Road and Zierfontein Road. Heading towards Bedfordview, expect about a 30-minute delay. This is on the N3 southbound between Marlborough Drive and Van Buren, while in Polshof, traffic heavily backed up on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. Also driving through the Joburg CBD, there's still slow-moving traffic. M1 South between Ethel Oakland and the Crown Interchange, and finally in Nooit Gesig, traveling into Soweto. Traffic is gridlocked on the N17 westbound from the N1 all the way to the Soweto Highway. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a work commuter. She's done this route 1,000 times. Perhaps she's daydreaming of a different job or just counting down to the weekend. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just another car in traffic. It's anticipation on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
And finally, the last award of the day for Gauteng's Greatest, brought to you by Yoko, and this is the Station's Choice Award. In other words, 702 has looked at all the entries in all the different categories and decided this is the entity that we would most like to honor. And the winner in this category is the Mufolo Arts Center. Located in the heart of Soweto, Mufolo Arts Center is a vibrant hub of cultural and artistic exploration. It has a rich history dating back to the apartheid era, and the centre continues to provide a platform for township artists to showcase their work. Today, it continues to thrive, offering studios, workshops, and a gallery space, as well as art classes and exhibitions for children in the community. And we're delighted to welcome to the studio Kenny Nkosi from the Mufolo Arts Centre. Kenny, welcome and many, many congratulations. You have won the Station's Choice Awards in the Gauteng's Greatest Awards of 2025. Tell us a little bit about the Mufolo Arts Centre and why it continues to flourish.
Good evening. Thank you very much to give me this opportunity to come and present Mufolo Arts Centre. Mufolo Arts Centre, it was established in 1967 from the Police Street School of Art, whereby people like Cecil Scottnet, Fred Stillman came to Mufolo Arts Centre in 1967 to open the so-called today Mufolo Art School. And during that era, Dan Rakhwadi and Cyril Kumalo and Cyril Mangani and Tammy Charlie were under the Soweto City Council in 1982. They were the cultural officer to come and establish the new development of art.
So Kenny, tell us a little bit about your own history with Mufolo Art School. I mean, did you go there as a young man? How did you connect with this really important part of Sowetan life?
Kenny Nkosi is originally from Mpumalanga, the so-called Mpumalanga today in our democratic dispensation.
Right.
It was in Transvaal in the olden days. I came in Soweto in 1984 to further my studies, where I was an employee from ESCOM. When I came to Soweto, it was Cyril Mangani who was the center manager, a cultural officer, which I came to study for a 3-year course diploma. So I did that, and the administrators during that time was Maureen McDowell in 1982, but I came in 1984. So the previous artist from Rockstrift, while one of the well-established centers in South Africa. There were people like Mzwakhe Ntlabati, Pet Mawutwa, the well-known artist, Vela Pimzimba, the late one, and Mangani. So a list goes on.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, listen, Kenny, it's fabulous work that you're doing. You provide a vital hub for creativity in the community. And as a proud supporter of the arts and creative industry, 702 and Prime Media really does recognize the immense value that Mufolo Arts Centre brings to our society. We're thrilled to celebrate your dedication and the dedication of your colleagues to keeping the creative industry alive and thriving. And congratulations to the Mufolo Arts Centre on this well-deserved win. You are the Station's Choice Award in this year's Gauteng's Greatest. Many congratulations to you and to all of your colleagues.
Wow. Thank you very much, because of I've been waiting for this long ago. Mufolo Arts Centre is not known, but it needs exposure. Because of the artists who are there, I'm the only one who's left. But today, some of them, which I used to share the space,
yes,
they are having their own studios in town. But all in all the artists who are being part of Mufolo Arts Centre, we have a ceramic studio, we have a photographic development, we have also visual art practitioners. We also have Soweto Gospel Choir, which are rehearsing there.
Yes.
We have musicians, even the Kaya Mahlangu, they are also from Mufolo Arts Centre. There are so many, even the guy like Morake, Khwali, Nosi, Khwali, they are all also at Mufolo Arts Centre. Even the actors, Darlington, the late Darlington, is also from Fulo Arts Center.
It's a fabulous list, Kenny and Corsi, and we hope that in the future this will continue to thrive. 702 Drive, it's 11 minutes to 6.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Clement Maniatella,
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Do you foresee that there's going to be a scheduling conflict? And have you managed to engage with the evidence leaders of the parliamentary inquiry that's also looking at the same allegations by General Mkhwanazi? Because the two processes will be running concurrently.
It is merely a scheduling conflict. And of course, we have the same objective, which is to get to the bottom of the allegations made by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. And so we can reasonably be expected to communicate with each other, which we have been doing, and work together to find a solution to the scheduling issues. But it is nothing more than that. There's no competition or anything untoward.
Jeremy Michaels, spokesperson for the Madlanga Commission.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Mzansi, set your sights on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for 114 million rand in total guaranteed jackpots this Tuesday. You heard right. You can play Powerball for the guaranteed 57 million rand, and you can play Powerball Plus for another guaranteed 57 million rand today. Buy your tickets now. In-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Itube is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
When I say insurance, you say pineapple. Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Excuse me. 702 Drive. Okay, at 9 minutes to 6, let's have some music on the show. You can, of course, continue to engage with us on some of the issues that we've raised on the show. You may want to tell us something about how you see tonight's match, which kicks off in 9 minutes' time out in Bloemfontein, Bafana versus Nigeria. We were talking about songs. Now, I made a whole Spotify folder for myself, and I called it the 3-minute pop song, because there are such great songs that are 3 minutes long, maybe 3:15. You can stretch it a bit, but pop songs tend to be short and tight. And then you get some that are really short, that are around 2.5 minutes, some of them even close to 2 minutes. So what I want to know from you is, what is that song that you absolutely love that is short and sweet? And maybe it's so short and sweet that you actually go back and play it again. And of course, nowadays, playing it again is you just click. Before, you had to go to the gramophone and you had to lift the needle and either move it back one track if it was a long playing record, or if it was a 7 single, you just went back to the beginning. I think there were fancy gramophones where it went back automatically unless you replaced it. But your song that you regard as absolutely short and sweet, just perfect at the length it is. So between 2 and 3 minutes, we'd prefer 2.5 to 3, but if you go to 3, we wouldn't mind. Get those coming to us right now on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Like I said, pop music, short and sweet. Elvis did it probably as well as anybody else.
Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting wild as a bug. I'm in love, I'm all shook up. Yeah. Well, my hand is shaky and my knees are weak, I can't seem to stand on my own 2 feet. Who do you think of when you have such luck? I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. Well, please don't ask me what's on my mind. I'm a little mixed up, but I feel fine when I'm near the girl that I love best. My heart beats so it scares me to death when she touches my hand. Oh, what a chill I got. Her lips are like a volcano that's hot. I'm proud to say that she's my buttercup. I'm in love. I'm all shook up.
Elvis Presley, all shook up, and it didn't take him long to get everyone else all shook up. Probably from the first note. That song, by the way, is 1 minute and 59 seconds. So well inside the little margin we've set for you. 2.5 minutes. See if you can do it. Your favorite song that is nice and short, but they get it all done. Tabang says Secondhand News by Fleetwood Mac. That's one that Tabang is recommending to us. All shook up, by the way, all the way back to 1960. There are whole lists, by the way, of songs that are really short and really, really good. You're the One That I Want is another suggestion. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John from the movie Grease. There's an REM song. Somebody else is suggesting Get Up. And then a song by a band called The Lars, who I don't think had a great deal of fame, but I remember the song. It was called There She Goes. So short songs that absolutely do the trick for you. Give us a call on 011 883 0702 or 072 702 1702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, here's one from way back, not quite so way back as Elvis Presley, but Simon and Garfunkel did this one. I think it was called the 59th Street Bridge Song, but most people just remember it as Feelin' Groovy.
Slow it down, you move too fast. You got to make the morning last. Just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. Hello, lamppost, well, what you knowin'? I come to watch your flowers growing. Ain't you got no rhymes?
And of course, that song has a nice little connection into South African language for things that we buy. Have any of you been asked by a grandmother or an elder person to say, go to the shop and get me a groovy? And it's because the very first cool drinks in cans in South Africa, or the first cool drink that was ever sold in a can in South Africa, was not the majors like Coke or Pepsi. It was a new brand called Groovy, and they used that song in their advertising. So there you go, Feelin' Groovy by Feelin' Groovy by Simon and Garfunkel. Now, earlier I said Tabang suggested this one from Fleetwood Mac, Secondhand News.
I know nothing to say. Someone has taken my place. When times go bad, when times go rough, won't you lay me down in the tall grass and let me do my stuff? I know got nothing on you. I know there's nothing to do when times go
album that really was a mini hit factory all on its own. Rumours, Fleetwood Mac, 1977. Don't Stop the Chain, Go Your Own Way. Plenty on that album that plenty of people learn to love. One more, here's a voice note.
Any topic with music, John, is a great topic, and my short and sweet song is The Green Green Grass by George Ezra. 2 minutes and 48 seconds of pure happiness.
But she moves like lightning, and she counts to 3. And she turns out all the lights and says she's coming for me. Now put your hands up, this is a heist. And there's no one in here living gonna make it out alive. Load it up when the sun comes down, getaway car for 2 young lovers. Me and the girl straight out of town, over the hills and undercover, undercover, undercover. She said, green, green grass, blue, blue sky. You better throw a party on the day that I die.
Fabulous story behind this. Ezra on holiday in St. Lucia in the Caribbean. He comes across parties going on all around him in the street, and he says, what's going on? The woman says, we are having a funeral for 3 people. So, wonderful story, wonderful song, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. This has been 702 Drive from me, John Perlman. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, equipping you with efficient and secure cash management solutions for your business. Good evening.